Of their baseball cards full of numbers, they furthered their professional careers in the Arizona Fall League. For over 25 years, the MLB elite began to hone their skills at this checkpoint of development. The AFL is widely represented in today's major leagues, and the Fall Stars game offers a sneak peek at the most promising young talent. Last year, Braves phenom Ronald Acuna Jr., Yankees southpaw Justice Sheffield, and Nationals top prospect Victor Robles all displayed their skills at this annual showcase before getting their chance to shine in the show. The past, the present, the future. The Arizona Fall League's Fall Stars game, next.
The Major League season just finished up, but November baseball brings us the future of MLB. Yes, a lot more on the horizon in 2018 after the World Series. Time to check out the next wave of prospects. It's the 27th season of the Arizona Fall League, and we're here for the next 3 weekends on MLB Network. First up, the top talent from the East and West divisions in the 2018 Fall Stars game, presented by Bowman. It's a picture-perfect weather day at Surprise Stadium in Arizona, and here in the AFL today, in the big leagues tomorrow, that's often the case. About 60% of AFL players make it to MLB. This is the finishing school for the Major League prospects. 40 former AFL players were selected to the 2018 MLB All-Star Game. You have 17 MVPs that have come out of the AFL. Names like Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, and Chris Bryant. And this is a treat for us in November to fly out here and find out which names will be lighting up the major leagues very soon. Welcome inside the booth. I'm Scott Braun, along with former Rockies GM Dan O'Dowd and Jim Callis from MLBpipeline.com. And Dan, you sent many of your Rockies players here. How special is this event for them?
Scotty, for me, games like this help me evaluate our players, because games like this show players how to compete. You're going to see the game speeds up on some, it slows down on another, but it gives you another insight to where they're at in their development process.
And we're excited to see the top prospect in all of Major League Baseball, and that is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., yes, Vlad Guerrero's son, the Hall of Famer, and he looks like a special talent.
Yeah, it's a generational type player. I mean, this guy does a lot of things well offensively. You know, he's got more walks than strikeouts in his 3 professional careers. So he shows you right there, he's got tremendous strike zone awareness. He's got well above average bat-to-ball skills. And his power is incredible. When you watch him, you're watching a young Miguel Cabrera swing the bat. He's really, really exceptional. Defensively will be the only thing for me that he still continues to have to grow. But when you look at these offensive numbers from his past year, they really are phenomenal.
He won the batting title in the minor leagues, a .381 batting clip, a magical season in the minors, and we're excited to see him crack the Toronto Blue Jays roster very soon. There are 12 top 100 prospects according to MLBpipeline.com, so who else should we have our eye on, Jim?
A lot of these guys. I'll give you 4, and there's a lot more where they came from. First guy, Reds outfielder Taylor Trammell. Last time he was on national TV, he was MVP of the Futures game, hit a home run. He tripled in that game. Former star running back in high school, great speed, potential 5-tool talent. The arm might be the only thing that's short in that regard. You also have national shortstop Carter Kieboom. His brother Spencer's already in Washington. Carter's not too far away. I see some Alex Bregman in him. He's going to be an offensive-minded infielder. He can play short. He can play third. He's not that far away. Very advanced young hitter. One of the best in the minor leagues. Then you have Christian Pache, the Braves. He's probably the best defensive outfielder in the entire minor leagues. Last year, the talk of the league was Ronald Acuna, 5-tool outfielder. Christian Pache, also a 5-tool outfielder. And he's going to be the guy who stays in center when he's ready. Acuna's going to wind up staying on a corner. Pache is really interesting. And then you have Keston Hiura, who was considered the best hitter in the 2017 draft. He's lived up to that reputation his first year in pro ball, having a tremendous Arizona Fall League season, leading the league in RBIs and several other categories.
And Jim wrote about the best tools in this game. You're looking at them right now. That includes your starting pitchers, best fastball Nate Pearson, and best curveball and best changeup Forrest Whitley in the Houston Astros system. You'll see him very soon. You get a sneak peek of the stars of tomorrow, the 13th Fall Stars game, lineups and first pitch coming your way from the desert right here on MLB Network.
The world's
Bryce Harper and Mike Trout.
Nolan Arenado with a solo home run. What a night for Nolan Arenado.
Chris Bryant. Worth the hype?
Absolutely.
Chris Bryant launches to left. This is Sanchez hitting one well to left field, and see ya.
Welcome back to MLB Network's special coverage of the 2018 Fall Stars game presented by Bowman Baseball Cards with Dan O'Dowd and Jim Callis. I'm Scott Braun here at Surprise Stadium in Arizona. You just saw some of the past stars like Mike Trout and Bryce Harper playing in the fall of 2011. Mike Trout made his debut very soon after that, and same with Bryce Harper, both of them within a year after playing in the Arizona Fall League. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could be next, and he's playing at third base defensively. Let's check out the East Division starting lineup, and it begins with Jahmai Jones, who's in the Angels system, the second baseman, followed by Dalton Varsho and Peter Alonso, the top first base prospect in MLB. Monty Harrison in the Miami Marlins system. Taylor Trammell is the Reds' number 2 prospect. Then Carter Kieboom, Daz Cameron, son of Mike. Bobby Dahlbeck, who's a member of the Boston Red Sox organization, the 2018 World Series champs. And Pavin Smith is your designated hitter, a lefty bat to round out the lineup. And Nate Pearson is on the mound, the 22-year-old Blue Jays top pitching prospect. Jim, he didn't pitch much this season, so the Fall League is perfect for him to showcase some of his stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly one of the things the Fall League's designed to do, is give innings and at-bats to players who need them. He was a first-round pick last year out of junior college. You don't see that too often. First start this year, got a line drive off his arm, broke his arm, fractured it. So he didn't really pitch again during the regular season, came down here, but he could show you some real quality stuff. He's been up to 102 miles an hour in short stints, and he'll be pitching a short stint tonight. Usually sits around 95, 98 as a starter in longer outings. He's got a hard slider as well. It's got power. It's got tilt. He can make you look bad with 2 different pitches. The command is the big question for him. He had to start out here where he gave up 8 runs in 1 inning. He had good stuff, but he just couldn't locate that day. A little bit understandable because it's been a really unusual year with just pitching 1 2/3 innings during the regular season.
Yeah, big, strong, physical kid. Looks like he's got a really good delivery. Stays over the rubber exceptionally well. Let's see how he handles the moment here.
6'6", 245 pounds, the right-hander out of Odessa, Florida. First pitch, Jahmai Jones to short, and he can move, but play is made by Lucius Fox at short. And there's one away, and we'll check out the defensive alignment for the West Division. And Pearson will play catch with Keber Ruiz. Evan White at first, Keston here at second. Fox just made the play at short. Guerrero Jr. at third. In the outfield from left to right is Kevin Biggio, Christian Pache, and Esteban Florial.
Scotty, we just got a chance to see Evan White and his soft hands at first base. That was not an easy pick, and he made it effortlessly.
And now it's Dalton Varsho, the catcher, son of Gary Varsho, who played 8 MLB seasons as an outfielder. Dalton is the 5th best prospect in the Diamondbacks system.
Short, compact swing. Jim told me he's a well above average runner for a catcher, which is exceptionally unusual.
He is, and he also he really runs well. It's an interesting profile for a catcher because it's the speed. Stands out. The arm is probably the least of his tools, but he's so quick. They've worked on quickening up the transfer, and he had success with that. So there was some question when they drafted him, can he stay behind the plate with a below-average arm? But I think it's playing close to average, at least adequate. Really moves well behind the plate. He's going to hit. I think he profiles, you could maybe play him at second base or an outfield corner if he doesn't stay behind the plate, but the Diamondbacks are optimistic about that. And named after his dad's former teammate, Darren Dalton. I don't understand how this guy flew under the radar as much as he did in high school.
What about Nate Pearson?
Yeah, it's
103 miles per hour for the strikeout.
And Scotty, what's important to me there is that he's doing it for me in the context of his delivery. If you look at this replay, though there's some effort in there, it's not the effort you would think when you're seeing that type of gun reading. That's extremely encouraging for me when you look at evaluating a starting pitcher.
And that pitch was middle, but when it's 103,
yeah, I'd say here it is, try to hit it.
Mm-hmm. Now Peter Alonso, and there's 103. He can't catch up to it.
Well, this is a great matchup. I mean, you get 103 against one of the best power hitters in the minor leagues.
Yeah, well, good luck in this one.
Alonso led the minor leagues in home runs with 36 this past season, and 119 RBIs led the minors as well. A deep drive right center field. Does it have enough to clear the wall? It does. It's gone.
That's really impressive, too, into right center.
Peter Alonso muscles up for a solo home run and puts the East Division on the board first. It's 1-0.
But Peter likes to perform in big moments, doesn't he?
He does. Not only did he hit the, we'll probably show footage of it later, a unique home run at the Futures game where it seemed like it was a pop-up that went about 400-something feet. You mentioned leading the minors in home runs. He homered in his last at-bat walk-off, last at-bat at Cashman Field in Las Vegas to tie for the minor league home run.
Well, he really got his arms extended there well, stayed right on a fastball, pretty much out over the plate with no plane.
And he's putting on a show for his new general manager, Brody Van Wagenen, is in the building, coming out to meet with Alonso after the game. Monty Harrison up next with 2 outs and a 1-0 lead for the East.
Not sure we're going to see a secondary pitch this inning. I believe every one he's thrown now has been in between 95 and 103.
I haven't seen one less than 101, just looking at the scoreboard. Although you got to figure you're trying to sit on the fastball here.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to make somebody look really bad with a slider.
Is it okay to be only working in that range, Dan? Do you want something off speed, a curveball like in the 80 range?
What I'm seeing, I want to see a little bit more pitchability.
Next. It's underway. We'll get to the West Division squad in the...
Very true. And we have not seen a secondary pitch, but you're not going to hit it up there if you're chasing up there.
The 1-2 from Pearson produces a second strikeout, but Peter Alonso bites first for the East Division. He's second in the AFL with 4 home runs, and he has one here in the showcase event. The Fall Stars game is just underway. We'll get to the West Division squad in the bottom of the first next. We'll check out the West Division lineup presented by Bowman Baseball Cards. It starts with Lucius Fox in the Tampa Bay Rays system, then Keston Hiura in the Milwaukee organization. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the top prospect in baseball. Kevin Biggio, son of Craig. Christian Pache, Evan White, Keber Ruiz in the Dodgers organization. Luis Robert and Esteban Florial, who's a member of the New York Yankees organization. And Forrest Whitley on the mound for the East Division, 21 years old. He's the top pitching prospect in Major League Baseball. Jim Callis, why?
Because he can miss your bat with 4 different pitches. We showed that best tools graphic, and I gave him best curveball, best changeup in the Fall Stars game. He also throws 93, 97 with a lot of action and downhill playing on his fastball, and he's got a hard slider as well. The key for him is going to be command, like it is with a lot of young pitchers. You see here, he's pitching out of the stretch. He does that a lot to try to keep the delivery in sync, but he can make you look bad with 4 different pitches.
You know, it's really interesting to look at. Usually guys this tall at 6'7" have a hard time staying within the context of their deliveries. But he looks like he already has an advanced feel for that. But, Jim, you're right. They simplified his delivery by putting him in the stretch.
Broken bat, and it goes to short for Carter Keyboom. Plenty of time for the first out.
That ball cut. A late cut action on his fastball right there. That is a pitch that's a natural cut. He's not forcing that to happen. That simply is just happening.
And you could pitch out of the stretch. I mean, he doesn't have to muscle up. He's not losing. I mean, maybe he's losing a mile an hour or 2.
I doubt he even is, Jim.
But even if he is, if you're getting 97, 98 with that kind of life, nobody's going to do much with that. I really think if it wasn't for the drug suspension he had at the start of the season and a couple minor injuries during the year, he would have been. We saw Josh James. Seemed like you and I talked about Josh James a lot on the rundown, Scott. I think he could have been on that postseason roster this year. This is only, he's only.
Yeah, the only concern I would have had, Jim, is that just he doesn't have a lot of professional innings.
Right.
So how far they would have wanted to push that and risk what his future may look like.
Now he's facing Keston Hera, and that's bobbled at third by Bobby Dahlbeck. Hera is going to reach safely.
Hera's got great rhythm to hit at the plate. It looks like he really understands the art of being on time. Simply be peaked right there.
And he had time. Hera can hit, but he's not an especially speedy guy. It's more of an average runner. He had more time to make that play. He didn't need to look where the runner was.
Well, this is the show right here.
This is Vlad Guerrero Jr., the top prospect in MLB, versus Forrest Whitley, the top pitching prospect, according to MLBpipeline.com.
And that was 98 on his hand, so he's rushing it up there pretty good right now.
And this happened 1 week ago in Surprise. Vlad's first at-bat was a line drive base hit to center field, and the next 2 at-bats, Whitley won the battle as Guerrero Jr. popped out in foul ground.
You know, even that take you can see right there, that's after 98, and then he threw him a slider at 86. Vlad is just really under control at the plate. He looks like he's very, very comfortable. Honestly, guys, it reminds me of watching a young Manny Ramirez, who I always felt he was most comfortable when he stepped in the box.
1-1 from Whitley, misses low. And Harris caught in between first and second. And the throw back to first for Alonso. He'll slap the tag on.
Nice play by Varsho right there. Good pick, stayed under control. He was going on a dirt ball read. It was a good instinct to go. But Varsho just made a really exceptional play right there.
Here in no man's land in the tag.
So, Scotty, when I mentioned that you're looking for things to see progress, so like right there for Varsho, it showed me that he has a real good understanding of what he needed to do in that situation from a game awareness standpoint. So he attacks him at 98, Jim, to start with, and then we've seen 3 breaking pitches in a row.
He's trying to show you a little bit more than the fastball.
Or that he doesn't really want to. He doesn't want to throw a fastball to this guy too.
This might be.
Would you? Would you want to throw Vlad Jr.?
I don't know. At 98, I might try.
This might be a premier matchup in the major leagues very soon. The 3-1 to Guerrero Jr. and he fouls it off.
He beat him there. Boy, Whitley's got some effortlessness in this delivery at his size. You realize with his release point, he's almost on top of you when he lets that thing go. So he challenged him in a 3-1 count. Let's see if he challenges him again here in a 3-2 count.
Haven't seen the changeup yet, I don't think.
And he missed, and he shows off his patience. 100 miles an hour off the plate, and Guerrero Jr. has more walks than strikeouts through 3 professional seasons.
And honestly,
in the minors.
we just don't see that anymore. What makes him so unique is to have that kind of power, but to be coupled with that type of strike zone awareness. That's why I said he's a generational type offensive player.
And he looks like a lovable guy over there at first.
There's a lot of guys who can crush the ball, but there's a lot of guys who crush the ball and swing and miss a lot.
Absolutely,
and he lets
Jim.
the power come naturally. In fact, down here, he's had a great fall league season. He has yet to hit a home run. he's not worried about it. He knows his power is going to come naturally.
And this was a teammate of his this past season, Kevin Biggio.
And what a breakout year for him in Double-A this year.
Blue Jays' 9th-ranked prospect, the 23-year-old from Houston, Texas. And he's behind 0-2.
Yeah, when he was coming out of Notre Dame, and he was just a 5th-round pick a couple years ago, he was kind of a good college player who drew some walks.
Just a 5th-round pick, huh?
Well, I mean, compared to some of these guys. I'm not meaning to denigrate a 5th-round pick, but he wasn't a big-time guy. He was a good college player, wasn't really impact tools, but he's changed his load at the plate, hitting for a lot more power this year, led the Eastern League in home runs, was the MVP, really raised his profile, like you said, a ton.
And, Jim, that's what makes systems really good is when you do get guys in that 4th through 8th round, and all of a sudden they get in your system and they begin to develop with those everyday at-bats and those everyday reps, and they get around certain people that introduce different concepts to them, and all of a sudden they start turning into a different type of player maybe than what they were projected to be.
Whitley's 1-2.
That is filthy right there, Scotty.
And Whitley finds his first strikeout. He fools Kevin Biggio and shows off his stuff. 1-0 in favor of the East and that Peter Alonso home run. We'll get to the second next.
This Network.
Back in Surprise, Arizona for the 13th Fall Stars game featuring Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who just worked a walk in the previous half inning. And Dan O'Dowd, you're a checklist guy, so what do you do when you watch Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in person when it comes to player makeup?
Well, again, this was my checklist for every player, Scotty, that I evaluated. Everybody had their kind of checklist. For me, when I look at him, I see consistency to his performance day in and day out in his approach to the game, his offensive approach to the game. So that would be one thing I would check up. Very, very high level of baseball awareness and IQ. You could see that in the box. His understanding of a game plan, competitive confidence. This young man just reeks of a guy who just absolutely knows and believes in his ability. And defined focus, which for me is different than normal focus. That's the ability to see beyond what you can see from the naked eye. And he's got a rare ability in the box to have unique defined focus. So he checks off a lot of those boxes, but those 4 really stood out for him.
What a special player. We'll talk more about him as we continue along here. Taylor Trammell taking a strike from Evan Krasinski, new man on the mound, the 23-year-old in the St. Louis Cardinals organization.
Yeah, he was a 9th-round senior sign out of East Carolina in the 2017 draft, but he's moving quickly, got to Double-A this year.
That's Biggio, and he's got the first out and left.
Yeah, and Biggio, quick point about him. You're normally a second baseman, but one of the things you do in the AFL is you try different positions. He's been getting some outfield play, but Krasinski, his best pitch is his changeup. He'll sit around 90 miles an hour. We saw 92. A lot of these guys will throw a little harder than normal because it's shorter stints and they're a little hyped up. He'll mix in a little curveball too, but he's mainly trying to use his fastball, locate it well so he can set up that changeup.
Scotty, we're going to see a lot of relievers. I mean, that's one of the things about the Arizona Fall League that allows you to do. You take kids that you feel like are getting on the radar, and through the experience of this program, some of them kind of get over that, that next level of development that allows you then to look to them the next season.
High chop for Lucius Fox, and he puts away Carter Keyboom for the second out. And also, like Jim mentioned, Dan, these pitchers are able to air it out because they know they're only going for an inning tonight.
Yeah, yes. Paralleling somewhat what you're going to see at the big league level, it seems like. But, that's where you can get a little bit of a false read because this is definitely an event that favors the pitcher more than the hitter because you don't get multiple looks at the pitcher.
I love Dave Pearson, but you're not going to see him throw 103 as a starter. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
If he stays a starter.
That's true, and I think that is a question with him.
It is a question. Unless he develops a third pitch that's going to interrupt the hitter's timing a little bit, more than likely he's going to have to slide into the bullpen. And that's not bad, having that thrown at you out of the bullpen on a consistent basis.
103, not too shabby. This is Daz Cameron, son of Mike. Mike is in the building.
Really impressed this year, Jim, that this young man finished the year at his age, 21, at AAA, so they've pushed his development a little bit.
They have. He was one of two players that they got, that the Tigers got in the Justin Verlander trade who are in this game. We'll see Josh Rogers, catcher, later. And Dad got off to a slow start in pro ball, and he had kind of a unusual amateur career. I think as a sophomore he emerged as a guy who could have been the #1 pick in the draft. And then he kind of plateaued a little bit, and the industry got down on him because he didn't get better.
Yeah, scouting fatigue we talk about.
He got $4 million as a supplemental first-round pick. He got off to a slow start in pro ball. And then he's really made a lot of progress the last 2 years.
Lucius Fox calls everyone off in shallow center field. And it's an easy 1-2-3 frame for Evan Krasinski. As we have played 1.5, it's 1-0 East Division here in Surprise.
Start today.
You're looking at the scouting grades. It's a 20 to 80 scale, and this is the Bible for Jim Callis. What does it mean?
Well, you're trying to quantify what you see, especially now I think with analytics are even more involved at the big league level than ever before. You want to be able to quantify things. And an average, we see here 50 is average. That would be roughly a 260 hitter that you're talking about. Translating that into a stat, it would be 20 home runs. Average fastball seems like it's about 93, 94 now. You're trying to quantify. Vlad is crazy tools. He's an 80 hitter. I think we've got a 65 on him power-wise right now, but you could probably put an 80 on the power. I'm sure we'll probably up that as we revise it again this offseason, which is exceptional. I mean, you're talking with Vlad is probably a future. Feels crazy saying this, Dan, about a guy who's 19 years old, future 320, 40 home run guy. But that's how good he is.
Christian Pache takes a pitch inside from Forrest Whitley, and Jonathan Mayo told me at the AAA All-Star game that the 80 hit tool for Vlad Guerrero Jr. is the only 80 you've handed out in the hit tool category ever.
Yeah, and Jonathan's been at MLB.com longer than I have, but we try to be, conservative. I mean, there are even there's some scouts who feel like you only give an 80 to the best of all time, and then you lower it, from there. There can only be 180, but no, I mean, he's the best hitting prospect I've seen in the 30 years I've been doing this, and the power's not far behind either.
We just saw, exceptional changeup out of Mr. Whitley's hand. The first one we've seen at 84. It was just a great pitch. Same arm action, same delivery. Had late fade action to it. It's a right-on-right changeup.
I've had some guys put a 70 on it.
It's really good, Jim.
The day I saw him, the one start of his I was at, his changeup was his best pitch.
Certainly can see that.
3-1 on the ground, and James makes the play to Alonso for the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. Let's go over Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s scouting grades because they're impressive.
And like I said, these are the grades we put on him in mid-season. I would bet that when we do our next revamping of our grades and do our top 100 in January, you could put an 80 power on him. Again, Dan used the Miguel Cabrera comp. That's the comp I like the most on him. I've heard Manny Ramirez. I've heard his dad with more patience. He does everything you want to see. I don't know what more you would want him to do as a hitter. He's got bat speed. He's got strength. He's got barrel awareness. He has unbelievable command of the strike zone for a teenager. He doesn't try to do too much at the plate.
And for me, that 45 defensive grade, in my experience, they need to keep him at third base and just continue to work in the development of those skills. He's more of an impact player for them if he can functionally turn into an average third baseman rather than moving him across the diamond to first base. That's a huge competitive advantage to have that kind of bat at third base. And I've seen a lot of players get better defensively just through hard work. But it comes down to his desire to want to turn into a good defensive player, too.
Well, it seems like at third base, too, that might be the one position where hard work can... you're not going to play shortstop if you aren't quick enough or don't have the arm. But at third base, there are guys like through the years like Robin Ventura, Wade
he's
Boggs.
Got good arm strength. Yeah. So it's just a matter of getting his feet to work on a consistent basis. And to me, that is just a lot of hard work and a lot of quality reps.
And that's another reason why I think the Cabrera comp works. Because, Miguel was... I don't know if Miguel was a 45 at third base, maybe early in his career. But again...
I think he was early in his career.
You want to keep... the bat is going to make Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
The bat's going to play anywhere on the field. But from a team standpoint, Jim, you're trying to... As you build a team, you'd love for him to be able to handle that position.
2-2 sent to deep right field. Daz Cameron heading back, warning track, and he's got it. So Evan White gives that ball a ride, but it's not enough to leave the yard. Daz Cameron all smiles out there, and he can play center field as well. A lot of range out and right now for the East Division.
Well, you were talking, Dan, before the game about how you thought Evan White's swing had changed since you saw him in his draft year. He was more of a hit-over-power guy. And here he almost goes out opposite field.
Yeah, it looks like he's made some drastic changes in his swing plane, where he's loading his hands to where it was in college. He was a well above average hitter. Really good approach in that at-bat, though, using the off-field.
2 down in the bottom of the second, and this is 20-year-old switch-hitting prospect Keber Ruiz. In the Los Angeles Dodgers system, the second-best prospect behind Alex Verdugo.
He's 20 years old, too.
20 years old.
And he was 19 for most of the season. He's a young 20. He's one of the best catchers around. Switch hitter, line drive bat, the power's coming. Was not fazed by AA as a teenager this year at all. The defense, is going to need some work. Again, he's young.
He's 20.
But I think he's going to have, an average to solid arm and be an average to solid defender back there and be, give you much more offense than you typically get out of a catcher. He's exciting.
1-1 from Whitley is downstairs.
Whitley is showing me so much here, Jim. His feel, his understanding, his ability to mix all of his pitches. Again, it's really unusual to see this young of a guy who's this tall have the ability to repeat his delivery as well as he does.
Yeah, I mean, just the stuff and his ability to, for the most part, throw for strikes is so advanced for a young age. You know, this millennium, since 2000, there have been 5 high school pitchers who made it to Double-A in their first pro season, which he did in 2017. It was Chad Billingsley, who wound up being an all-star. It was Dylan Bundy, who got hurt but got there quick and has bounced back. And then 2 guys named Zach Greinke and Clayton Kershaw. And then Whitley was the 5th. I mean, that's pretty good company to keep.
And the 3-1 misses, so it's a 2-out walk for Ruiz. But let me get this straight. The Houston Astros, who rocked a 3.16 rotation ERA this season, which was best in baseball and also the lowest mark by an American League team in 40 years, they also have the top pitching prospect in baseball, so the rich get richer. And this is what you're talking about, with one of 5 high school pitchers drafted in the first round to make it to Double-A in their first full pro season. The Astros pinpointed him very early on. They knew he was going to be special, Jim.
They did, and it was interesting. I saw him, the first time I saw him was at the Under Armour game. Well, I'll finish this thought in a second. Ground ball to third.
Dahlbeck over to Alonso, and that's all we have time for. Forrest Whitley, very solid in his performance. We'll get back to that story. Plenty of time here to talk. In surprise, it's 1-0 in favor of the East.
Hammer Scent Booster.
Yeah, look at the sequence here from Whitley to Guerrero in his first at-bat. 98, running hard, in on his hands, and then 3 consecutive breaking balls. But look how patient and look how under control the takes are by Guerrero. Completely under control. Got beat on a 3-1 fastball there, and then he tries to run a fastball away and misses. But again, Guerrero's at-bat, guys, where he took every single pitch under control.
A couple scoreless frames for the Astros prospect, and Whitley put on a show from day one here at the Arizona Fall League. He struck out the first 7 batters he faced in his AFL debut back on the 9th of October.
Yeah, I wish we get to see that again. I mean, I come here a lot. You don't usually see the top hitting prospect in baseball and the top pitching prospect in baseball in Arizona in the same year. And we got a great at-bat there. I vote for having Whitley pitch a 3rd inning. I know I'm going to lose that vote because I'm not in charge, but I'd like to see more.
Hard hit by Bobby Dahlbeck, and Lucius Fox will make the throw, but it's offline. He made the diving stop, but Bobby Dahlbeck has himself an infield hit to start off the 3rd.
Really good athletic instincts by Fox there. I ranged pretty far into the 6th hole. Look at how far he goes to get this ball, and then awareness, get up and throws. He just wasn't going to throw him out, even if that was a ball on the plate.
Dan, you watched Fox taking ground balls, and you were impressed with the way that he looked at shortstop. You think he can stay there?
Well, again, Scotty, it's a quick look. It looks like he's got explosive athletics actions. Got to at least see a little bit more of the consistency with his hands. and how his hands and feet work together, with his arm.
And that's Pavin Smith to Fox, and he grabs it, and it's going to be an easy double play as Dahlbeck was on the move.
Right on cue there.
Perfectly timed by Fox. And there's 2 down quickly in the 3rd. Well, the athleticism is there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what got him a $6 million bonus out of the Bahamas when the Giants signed him. They gave him up in the Matt Moore trade a year later, but just timed that perfectly. I mean, and he had to, because if the timing was off, that's in left field. That's 1st and 2nd with nobody out instead of a double play. And, what you were saying about his defense, I think applies to his whole game. I mean, look, there's tools there. He's got a line drive bat, but he needs strength and plate discipline. He's a well above average runner, but he's still learning how to steal. And he's got the tools, but he's still figuring out defensive consistency. And he's a young guy, too. He's only, I think, 21 years old. And the upside on him is pretty high if he can polish those tools up.
Now it's Jahmai Jones with 2 down, but the question is, will there be room for him at the shortstop position based on how much talent the Tampa Bay Rays have at that position, Jim?
They do. I mean, I don't know if a team ever has so much talent that you can't find places to play guys. If he doesn't play short, maybe he plays second, because I really do like Willie Adames.
Yeah, I never worried about that at all. I'd let him play shortstop, let him settle in there. It's the most athletic position. He has a chance to learn. And then, you know what? He'll adjust from there because he's a good athlete.
Well, this was his inning. Lucius Fox with a big smile as he heads back to the dugout. And quick work from Evan Brzezinski on the mound. It's the East 1, the West nothing. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. MLB Network's special coverage of the 2018 Fall Stars game is presented by Bowman Baseball Cards, the first place to find the game's future stars. And this was the coolest moment before the contest began. All the players coming together and cracking some fresh packs of Bowman Baseball Cards, including Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This is a treat. And you don't know who you're going to get, but there is a chance you can get an autographed card, a card with a piece of a uniform, a piece of a bat. There were some trades going on before this started, some pictures, some selfies. And joining us right now, the marketing manager of Topps, Kevin Moody, is here. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. And the players should have all the fun, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
There's some packs for you guys, too.
Thank you very much.
Best guest ever. Thank you. Can we open these while we're doing this?
Absolutely. We're going to start trading them right now.
Let's do it as we get ready for the bottom of the 3rd inning here in Surprise, Arizona. And it's Luis Robert and Esteban Florial and Lucius Fox for the West Division. They trail 1-0, and the new man on the mound is John Duplantier, 24-year-old top prospect in the Arizona Diamondbacks system. And Kevin, I understand that your team has gone next level here. We're not just talking about standard cards, as I mentioned. Everyone's looking for something special when they open up a pack. What could we find?
Absolutely. So there's a few different things that we do with our cards now that we haven't done, 10, 15, 20 years ago, when some people used to collect. One big thing is autograph cards, which, got a guy like Royce Lewis right here, autograph card right there. We use different technology for the cards. Plastic acetate, some of the shinier cards that you guys have is kind of a chrome technology. We just try and find different ways to bring the collector and the fan closer to the game.
It's a 1-2 count to Florial from Duplantier. And it's now 2-2. I have myself a Luis Urias card. It says Peaks of Potential. So this is someone who has not made it to the major leagues yet, but coming very soon. And one of the players actually that we've seen in this Fall Stars game in the past. Florial going the other way. It's a fair ball, and he's got a lot of speed. He's going to get to second easily, and he is headed for third. Here comes the throw, and he's in there head first. It was cut off. Estevan Florial with a leadoff triple here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, he's not short of tools. He's got 3 well above average tools in his raw power, his speed, and his arm. And here, you don't see too many triples to left, and that was a pretty easy triple to left, Dan.
Yeah, but he turned it on right here. Look at where he turned it on right here. Look at his cuts, his leans. Explosive athlete.
And now back to the top of the order, and Lucius Fox. Kevin Moody in the booth with us. So, Kevin, this is a dream job for you, too. When did you fall in love with the baseball card business?
Oh, gosh. The minute I could start following baseball, pretty much. Probably about 4 or 5 years old. I've kind of collected cards throughout my entire life. Helped me with kind of doing math and, kind of figuring out different ERA. As a big baseball fan, that's kind of one way I use baseball cards myself personally. So it's been pretty much my entire life I've been a baseball card collector.
What kind of collection do you have, Kevin?
Oh gosh, it's pretty big. There's a few people that I work with that have a larger collection than me even. But I've got some. I'm a Mets fan, so I used to collect a lot of Jeff Kent, Bobby Bonilla, guys like that, David Wright. So it's pretty much Mets focused for me. And there's a lot of different collectors out there that collect either players or teams or just certain products. So there's a lot of different ways to collect, and there's always some way for everybody to collect.
What's your most cherished card in your collection?
That's a great question. I would probably say one of my favorite player right now is Jacob deGrom, so I would say probably my autograph card of him, which is essentially a baseball card with his autograph on it. So it's one that I'll probably never trade with anybody in the office or anything like that. I keep it nice and neat on my desk. Nobody touches it, so that's kind of my favorite card.
Leadoff hitter Lucius Fox. The 1-2 is spotted nicely by Duplantier. It's his first strikeout. And there's one away.
Duplantier can be tough because he's got a very nice hard spike curveball that you have to be aware of, and then he throws 96 down at the knees on the black.
He's got a little funky arm action, doesn't he, Jim? It's a little different.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know if it's a direct result of that, but he's had some health issues. He missed half of this season. He missed a full season when he was at Rice. He's very good when he's healthy. I think that's really the biggest question with him going forward.
First pitch swinging Keston here at his center. It should be deep enough to drive home Florial, and a long throw home from Harrison on one hop, not nearly in time. And the West Division ties up the game at 1. Keston here with the sacrifice fly to drive in Florial. It's 1 apiece.
It's got to mention with Keston his first time up how his rhythm and balance at the plate is so exceptional. He knew exactly what he was trying to do there, stay in a big part of the field, driving a run. He got a pitch to do it. Just perfect execution, and that's why everybody's so excited about his ability to not just be a good player, but to be a winning player.
Did anybody get a Vlad Guerrero Jr. card up here in our pack?
I didn't get one.
I did not.
Pretty disappointed that I didn't get the pack with Vlad.
Well, I think all the players got them. I think we pulled about 4 or 5 Vladdy Jr. cards earlier, which, again, that's kind of one of the things that we've done at Topps and Bowman. Before, years ago, you'd only be able to collect players who were already in the major leagues. Now you can kind of get that first glimpse of a guy who got drafted in June. They'll be in a product in December for us. So you can kind of see who's up and coming, in the minor leagues for a lot of these organizations through our cards.
And when does this process begin?
in terms of creating an actual product.
And figuring out who's going to be in the next set of cards.
Oh, sure. So our brand team does a great job kind of doing a great balance of, finding out the guys, like Vladdy, who everyone wants to collect, and then also those hidden guys who you might not have thought of originally, but they kind of shine in a few years.
Where Jr. bounces out, and that's it for the bottom of the third. Kevin, thanks for swinging by. We appreciate it, and thanks for the cards.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
These are great. We get to keep these, right?
Of course, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, good. 1-1. We've finished 3 innings here in Surprise, Arizona. Back to the Fall Stars game in a moment. Live baseball continues in November on MLB Network with the Arizona Fall League. See the next wave of Major League phenoms in action during the Military Appreciation Game next Saturday at 8 Eastern, live on MLB Network. I'll be there along with Jim Callis and Dan O'Dowd. And we know that this man has a reputation. The San Diego Chicken, know where he is on the field at all times. Dalton Varsho, who's in this game, almost got run over. Is he okay, Dan?
Would be fired up if I was a GM seeing my catching prospect get run over.
Whose job is it to let him know that the San Diego Chicken was coming in hot? And a new man on the mound, it's Miguel Diaz, and he's facing Varsho. We'll see how okay he is in his second trip to the plate. Varsho, a strikeout victim, his first time up, and Diaz was acquired by the San Diego Padres back in December of 2016. And Varsho, first pitch swinging. Biggio in the left field corner, long run, and he doesn't have it.
Another young man with a big arm, Jim, doesn't he?
He does. He's still learning how to harness it. He was the #1 overall pick in the Rule 5 draft in 2016 by the Twins. They immediately traded him to the Padres. He'll run it up, 97, 98 miles an hour pretty regularly, but he's been hammered in the big leagues. Slider and changeup have their moments too. It's just, he's got the pure stuff. He just has to get it under controlled command a little bit better.
We've seen Diaz in the major leagues both in 2017 and 2018, 42 total appearances, an ERA around 6.5. He was better this past season. A little over 18 innings, he struck out 30 batters, ERA sitting at 4.82. A 2-1 count to Varsho. Cranked center field. Pache. One down.
We're looking here at the scouting report, and it mentions, he's got big stuff. He gets hit due to lack of command. But you also have to realize, too, when you take a guy in the Rule 5 draft, you got to keep him in the major leagues or offer him back. So that makes it tough for development purposes.
He really
was
stunts
rushed.
development at times, and this is a perfect example of that. This is a young man that probably should not have been in the big leagues.
Peter Alonso goes through. It's 0-1.
How about that? First pitch slider. He saw that young man hit a home run off of
off of 103.
103, and he throws him a first pitch slider. I think Peter was looking to ambush another fastball right there.
How much does it hurt a prospect to come up to the major leagues too soon, Dan?
I think the timing of it's crucial, Scotty. I think you really can set kids back a long ways when you rush their development. And one of the things we've really lost within our game right now is the understanding of patience as it goes with that. You want your young prospects to learn how to fail at the minor league level, how to make the adjustments necessarily at the minor league level so they don't have to go through that at the big league level. But a lot of kids are getting pushed real quickly, which leads to a lot of the adjustments that they have to make at the big league level.
Well, Diaz deposits Alonso in 3 pitches, and now Monty Harrison can't get a hold of 98 from Diaz.
This young man is a crucial part of the Yelich trade. He has got tremendous upside ability, but he's going to really have to learn how to hit a breaking ball on a more consistent basis.
That's an understatement. He struck out 215 times this year. He might be the best athlete in this game. I mean, he was a quality football and basketball player who could have played at the college level. You can go on YouTube and see some amazing dunks from Monte Harrison. He's got a cannon arm. He's got
and he hits a good fastball too. I mean, he looks like he can stay on a really, really good fastball.
And he had some injuries early in his career too. And, he wasn't full-time baseball until he turned professional. And like you said, it's going to take patience. To the Marlins' credit, they didn't rush him. They didn't feel the need to, hey, we really got to push this guy to justify the Yelich trade.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do with him next year. Does he go back to Double-A? That might be the best thing for him after those 215
Well, you
strikeouts.
don't want him to get exposed. If he's striking out that much at the minor league level, he's going to strike out a ton at the big league level.
Nice stop by White, and the toss to Diaz, but Monty Harrison beats him to the bag.
Scotty, that was an exceptional defensive play by White at first base. It was simply a pitcher that didn't break in time to get over there, but his athletic first-step quickness on that ball was absolutely exceptional.
Well, we talked a little bit about him, Dan, before the game.
We did.
I mean, he might be the best defensive first baseman I've seen in college baseball in a while. And the thing is, it's a tough call. Do you play him at first, where he might be a Gold Glover? There were teams who scouted him as amateur who thought he could play center field, not just a Corey. It's kind of a Cody Bellinger profile.
I felt that way too, only because I didn't want to put a lot of pressure on the bat from a power standpoint as a corner player. But that athletic action there was phenomenal.
Harrison going for second, got a great jump, and he's in there safely with a stolen base.
Yeah, that was explosive athleticism right there on display. His first step was exceptional.
And we saw it out of the box, too.
Hey, look at his first step right there. And that's a big physical man running like that, too.
Yeah, this isn't a guy who's 5'9", 170. I mean, like I said, I think he's probably, if you look at all the guys in this game, he's the best athlete here, and there's some really good athletes in this game.
There's the jump.
It's funny, too, Jim. He was 3 strides, and he was at full speed.
Yeah, you just don't see guys who are that big and strong move that fast too often.
And Ruiz, that was a really good transfer and throw.
Yeah, there was nothing he could do on that.
No, it was good, though. It was good. He stayed under control. He realized the jump that the runner got on first base, but he didn't panic. He stayed right within, his ability to transfer and throw, and he did a really good job right there.
Taylor Trammell behind in the count, 0-2. And a fly ball to left, just like last at-bat. And that's Kevin Biggio to put him away. So no damage done here by the East Division. The infield base hit for Harrison. He's stranded at second. We go to the bottom of the 4th here at Surprise.
This
Last of the fourth inning at the Fall Stars game here in Surprise, Arizona. The first couple frames belong to Forrest Whitley, the top pitching prospect in the minor leagues. And he produced a couple scoreless innings and joins us right now on the broadcast. Forrest, we appreciate the time. Great work this evening. How did it feel out there?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It felt really good. Body felt good as ever. And to be honest with you all, I just tried to go out there and throw it as absolutely hard as I could.
Forrest, Jim Callis here. How fun is it to go up against a guy like Vlad Guerrero Jr.? I mean, kind of the best versus the best. I see your teammates are...
Who's picking on you there?
Who's doing that?
It's Chet Long.
Okay, well, tell you, you can take revenge on him shortly, but how much fun is it to be able to go up there and challenge Vlad? And we noticed you start off with the fastball, but then you try to stick with the breaking ball a little bit on him.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to make a mistake to a guy like that. He's the best hitter I've ever faced. So I was just trying to get him my best stuff and kind of lost touch of the off-speed stuff early on. I just had a lot of adrenaline coming to the game, so the fastball was good, but off-speed stuff kind of suffered. So went back to the fastball there towards the end, ended up getting the strike call, but he won that one.
Forrest, it's Dan O'Dowd. The abbreviated delivery, I was really impressed on the context of your delivery, how well you stayed within it for somebody your size. When did you start going to that, and what were the reasons behind it?
Yeah, so I started going from the stretch full time last year around the All-Star break, and ended up having a lot of success with it. And this offseason, I kind of made it a priority to go back to the windup, and I kind of came back to the stretch delivery because why fix something that wasn't broken? I had a really good 2017, so ended up going back to it. Felt a lot more comfortable, felt a lot more powerful. So I'm glad with how that's working out.
Kevin Biggio pulls a base hit off of the new pitcher Bailey Clark, and Christian Pache coming up next. Forrest Whitley on with us right now. Forrest, the two men sitting next to me, we're talking all about your changeup, and it looks like you unleashed it maybe 19 or 20 pitches into your outing. Why did you wait so long?
Like I said, it was tough to throw those off-speed pitches early on, just because my fastball was a lot harder than usual, just because of the adrenaline. So my arm was ahead of my body, and I was just kind of spiking everything. So I went out with my best pitch, which was my fastball tonight. I wish I could have thrown the changeup a little bit more, but it was just one of those nights that wasn't really working for me.
Well, the one you threw to Pache was unbelievable. We were thinking, what, Dan, 70? Maybe.
I dropped an 8 on it, Jim.
So, I'm tougher than Dan, I guess.
Christian Pache first pitch had a base hit there, and it moves Biggio up to second. So trouble brewing for Bailey Clark right now. Evan White up next, and he fouls one off. So it's 0-1. That's Forrest Whitley on the left side in the box there.
Forrest, let me ask you. You really looked like you had fun tonight, just getting out there and competing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. I was really looking forward to this. It's always fun when they're kind of short stints. You go out there and show them your best stuff for a short period of time. So I really enjoyed it.
Hey Forrest, what was it like in your debut back in the beginning of October to fan the first 7 batters that you faced?
Yeah, that was pretty unbelievable. That was the first time I've ever done something like that in a professional setting. So I kind of didn't realize what I was doing at the time. And once I came in from that third inning, I was just like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
How much do you think the fall league is going to help you, Forrest? I mean, you get to pitch a lot this season for a couple of different reasons. How much is getting the opportunity to pitch in a league like this against this competition going to help you going into next year?
Well, it's going to help a lot. I mean, these lineups are the best I've ever faced, just consistently back-to-back. And then tonight's lineup, all these guys are going to be big leaguers, and they're going to be good big leaguers. So it was a real honor to throw against guys like these, and all these lineups are just so talented. So to be able to just experiment with my craft against theirs, it's a really good opportunity.
Forrest, what do you think you need to do from a development standpoint to take that next step to turn yourself into a big league starting pitcher?
Well, I think I just need to refine the command a little bit, and that's going to come with body control, and I think that's going to come mostly with strength and conditioning. As soon as I get that under control, I do think it's going to all come together. So just getting that delivery as balanced and consistent as I possibly can, and when the command comes, I feel like I'm going to be in a really good spot.
That high chop from Evan White moves both runners up, so there's one down here in the bottom of the fourth. Bailey Clark about to face K-Bear Ruiz, and we're talking to Forrest Whitley. Look how far that thing got into the air. It really put Bobby Dahlbeck in a tough position. Not enough time for him to corral it and step on third.
He's got
just in time at first.
He's got a well above average arm, Jim. He's got a cannon for third base right there.
I saw him at the College World Series where if Arizona they lost by 1 run in the final game to Coastal Carolina in 2016. If Arizona wins, he might be the MVP as a pitcher. He hit a very good arm.
And that pitch skips away, and it will score Cavan Biggio and give the West Division a 2-1 lead. Pache moves up to third. And here it is again. Off Varsho's glove. A ball and no strikes to K-Bear Ruiz and a chance to drive in another run. It's 2-1 West. Forrest Whitley's still with us. So, Forrest, you also look at the Houston Astros Major League team and the damage they did from their starting rotation. I mentioned it earlier. By far the best ERA by starting rotation. And go, man, it's going to be tough to crack that big league roster because there's so much talent there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's when you got guys like Verlander and Cole and Keuchel in the same rotation. I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult to get up there and compete for a spot. But I'm always up for a challenge, and I know if I earn that spot, it's going to mean a whole lot more.
K-Bear Ruiz drives in Christian Pache. It's 3-1 West Division. The RBI base hit. And Forrest, do you get to meet or speak with any of those big leaguers like a Justin Verlander or Garrett Cole?
I actually met Justin Verlander at the Fan Fest Caravan in Houston in January. At the beginning of this year, and he was super friendly to me. He actually approached me, and that was a very special moment. I mean, I've been looking up to that guy for a very long time. Obviously, he's been a stud at the big league level forever. So for him to come out to me like that and introduce himself was a real honor.
Forrest, do you pattern yourself in your approach to any big league starting pitcher?
Yeah. So growing up, my favorite pitcher is Tim Lincecum. He was the guy that I always modeled. And then once I kind of molded into my own body, I kind of had to go with what I got. I mean, I obviously don't have Tim Lincecum's frame, so I can't really move like he does. But that was a guy I really idolized. But I'd say other guys like Garrett Richards was a guy that I really loved. Chris Archer's a guy that I really like. I mean, there's so many other guys at the big leagues that are just so good right now. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard not to look away, You have more of a Justin Verlander frame. So did JV give you any advice when you met him? No, there was no advice. I mean, we just kind of sat down and talked, and we didn't necessarily talk about baseball. Just some general questions back and forth. It was a very brief conversation. So nothing too in depth. Well, Forrest, we appreciate the time. Luis Robert almost hit by that pitch. He'll back off, and it's 1-2. Forrest, thanks so much for the time. Great work. Congratulations on your performance and for making this Fall Stars game, and we hope to see you in the bigs very soon. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. You all have a good night. You too. Forrest Whitley with us, the starting pitcher for the East Division.
And Dallas Keuchel and Charlie Morton are free agents now, so that opportunity might be a little bit easier than it would have been otherwise. We'll see what happens with them.
Because I have to imagine, Dan, you look at that rotation as a prospect. I know you can't think about that too much, but the Astros have been contenders.
Yeah, you don't think about that at all. The prospects that make it that I've been around are the ones that control what they can control, and you let all of that other stuff go. You just focus on trying to turn yourself into being the best player you can possibly be. What I was really impressed about him was he really knows himself and what kind of pitcher he is. His delivery is interesting. I like to look at deliveries more as adjustable deliveries than repeatable deliveries, and he seems to already understand that at a very young age. So he's very, very mature for his age, and gosh, I'm really excited about his future.
Yeah, the tough thing about getting him to the big leagues next year is he only pitched 26 1/3 innings plus the fall league. So how many innings can you pile on top of that? It might not be much more than 100.
Yeah, Robert flies out to Taylor Trammell. Go ahead, Dan.
You want to make sure you protect that asset long term. And there's a lot of pressure pitches at the big league level that he won't face at the minor league level. So for me, next year for him is another foundation year. He's going to determine how quickly he'll get there. But I'd be very cautious as relates to pushing him too quickly.
12 of the top 100 prospects, according to MLBpipeline.com, are playing in this Fall Stars game. These are the top prospects overall in the AFL. We just spoke to number 8 overall and the top pitching prospect in the game.
Yeah, no, this is pretty good. I mean, like I said, you don't see the top hitting prospect and the top pitching prospect in Arizona at the same time. This is honestly the first time I can remember that. I just wish we could have seen him for more than one at bat.
Forrest Whitley did his job. It's 3-1 West. Ben Bramer will replace Bailey Clark on the mound when we come back.
Warriors.
That's Ben Bramer, new man on the mound for the East Division, as we welcome you back to Surprise, Arizona. The Fall Stars game continues in the bottom of the fourth with 2 down and 2 runs on the board here in the last of the fourth from the West Division. It's Esteban Florial.
Jimmy, is he a pure reliever? It's a situational reliever, or is he a guy that can face right-hand hitters too?
I mean, he's got some velocity. He can run into the mid-90s. He's not just a soft tosser. I mean, he has a solid breaking ball. I mean, he's going to be, like most lefties, more effective against lefties, but I don't think you're going to cringe if you have to throw him out there against a righty, because it's not like he's throwing 88. He had a really nice year in the Nationals organization. 18th round pick out of Auburn in 2016, co-minor league pitcher of the year for the Nats. And they kind of used him in a swing role. I definitely think it is reliever.
Is he projected to be a reliever or starter?
I think reliever long term.
The Nationals co-minor league pitcher of the year in 2018. He had the best ERA in the Nationals' entire system this past season, a 2.28 mark. The 24-year-old left-hander fires his first strike to Florial.
His heart's racing a little bit right now.
Well, I think it's sometimes tough in these games, too, because you kind of have a schedule of when guys are going to come in, and I'm going to assume that Bailey Clark was probably going to get a full inning, and that Bramer's probably in the game a little bit
sooner than he expected.
Sooner than he thought. And not that, I mean, obviously you're going to have to do that at the big league level, but, national TV game, he's probably told, hey, you got the 5th, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, get ready, we may need you here.
And a free pass for Florial. That'll move Keber Ruiz to second base. And we'll go back to the top of the order. It's Lucius Fox.
From the right side.
That's right. The switch-hitting shortstop, 9th best prospect in the Tampa Bay Rays system.
Scotty, it's really hard for a kid to develop as a switch hitter because 80% of the pitchers you face in the game are right-handed, so you really just don't get a lot of swings from the right side, and usually when you do, it's against pitchers that are just absolutely filthy. So it's hard to maintain a level of confidence from both sides of the plate because very rarely do you feel good from the same side of the plate in a given game.
Fox fouls one back. How do you combat that? Do you try and put together more simulated games at times to face the other side?
To me, you have to find an approach from the right side that's going to work for you with not a ton of work being able to put in it. So you can already see he's got a much shorter approach from the right side. He kind of lets the head of the bat go from the left side. He looks to me like he's feeling for the ball a little bit more from the right side.
A tremendous athlete. I mean, this guy's one of the quickest runners in the game. I mean, he's not going to be a power guy, but that's fine. If you want to get some plate discipline, you can hit him at the top of the order. And like we talked about before, I mean, he's still young. He's still refining things. He can really run. He gets caught stealing a little bit too much, and he's got the tools to play shortstop. He's got to polish that up as well.
He looks like he plays the game just a tad out of control at times, and so that will come with more experience. the plate discipline part for his skill set will be paramount for him to end up being a big leaguer that can really impact your club. Because if you're not going to hit the ball at the ballpark, you have to understand your skill set in being able to work counts and being able to utilize your speed by putting the balls in play and getting in counts to be able to do that. Like that right there is a good take for him.
He was one of 3 players acquired from the Giants for Matt Moore back at the 2016
Pretty good
deadline.
trade. They've done a phenomenal job in their professional scouting department in asset acquisitions.
Now, the Rays have one of the best farm systems in baseball, and trades are a big part of that.
In some ways it's been they built the system as much through trades as through scouting and development.
And this was the deal. Matt Duffy for the big league squad, Lucius Fox in the minors, and also Michael Santos.
And Matt Duffy, when healthy, has been a really valuable contributor to their major league club. A very underrated player.
They went through a drought draft-wise where they didn't draft well for a while, and that's why as a team that has really no financial resources in a bad stadium situation, and they're in the AL East, backed up like they have, but they've done a better job in recent years. Wander Franco, who we'll probably see in this in a couple of years, will be exciting. And, drafted Brendan McKay, who they're trying to develop as a two-way player.
And that's a walk for Lucius Fox because of a pitch clock violation.
First time we've seen it.
That's right, charged against Ben Bramer. The clock expires, and there's the call. Fox was in the box.
I have to tell you guys, the pace of this game because of the pitch clock for me has been phenomenal. I really, really think it has increased the level of intensity of the game because it creates action. It's a pitch, get on, you have to make another pitch.
And right now, we were looking at the clock that starts at 30 seconds for mound visits as well. So there's limits on just about everything here. It's refreshing to see. The game moves.
It is. And it forces the hitter to stay in the box a lot more. You want to have the hitter be able to flush, so to speak, the last pitch and clear his mind, but you don't want him to be able to take a walk around the entire plate to do that.
So now the bag's full for Keston Hiura.
The rule is great. I mean, they kind of tinker with every year. In past years, it's been 20 seconds, which is the rule on the baseball, and it keeps game. I remember we were interviewing a couple of years ago, Paul Severino and I, during an MLB Network game, were interviewing Carl Crawford, who's, I think, getting inducted into the AFL Hall of Fame, and he loved it. He's like, this is great. I wish we did this at the big league.
And this is the perfect league to be able to try different things on and really be able to evaluate it appropriately.
You can tinker with it. I mean, they've tested replay here.
I love the 15-second rule, guys, because it really forces the pitcher to get on the mound and go. It forces the catcher to get the sign to go. And it forces the hitter to get in the box and commit.
And the thing is, you're not set in stone. Like, if you have runners on base and you step off the rubber, it resets the clock. Now, you can't do that indefinitely, but you're not like, hey, if the clock's at 3, the runner knows you have to pitch and you're in trouble. The same thing. If the hitter wants to call time, he can ask the umpire for time, but it just really keeps the game moving. I mean, this game's been flying by.
You see that take right there in 2-0? I mean, that was a strike, but this young man is looking for his pitch in that 2-0 count. So he's looking for something middle in that he could turn on, and that was a fastball away. He really has an advanced understanding of an approach at the plate.
I think he's right behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as the best pure hitter in the minor leagues.
For me, this young man is not very far, if at all, from the big league level. If he goes to spring training and they don't fill that spot, it actually wouldn't even shock me that he could push to have that job at the end of spring.
The question with him, I think, is the defense.
It is.
He was a DH his draft year because he had an elbow injury. He's never had Tommy John surgery, which a lot of people thought he might have to have.
But, Jimmy, that's always going to be the issue. At some point in time, he's going to have to work through that issue at the big league level.
And just watching him in the field, he's not struck him out. So nice at-bat there, or nice confrontation there for Ben Bramer. But real quick to end that thought on here, defense is still a work in progress, so they might leave him AAA to work on that. And it would be legitimate. Right. It wouldn't be a service time issue.
2 runs for the West Division as we play 4 innings here at Surprise, Arizona, and we head to the top of the 5th here at the Fall Stars game on MLB Network. From creating a blockbuster trade to inking a big free agent signing, it's all part of how GMs try to craft a winning team in the offseason. See which clubs could use some finishing touches to succeed next season. MLB Tonight, weeknights on MLB Network, presented by Dairy Queen. So we're watching the stars of tomorrow in the Fall Stars game, perhaps also the rules of tomorrow, which includes the 15-second pitch timer, and there was a pitch clock violation charged against Ben Bramer in the last half inning. It caused ball 4 to Lucius Fox, which loaded up the bases, but the West did leave them loaded. You also have the mound visit timer, mound visit limitations, extra inning runner placement, which occurs in the 10th inning. You put a man on second base. So some experimental devices put in the rules here in the Arizona Fall League. And like we talked about in the last half inning, Jim, we're a fan of them. This 15-second pitch clock, which just turned off as we saw the pitch flying in from Kyle Muller against Carter Kieboom, but it keeps the pace going.
No, it makes for crisply played games. I mean, it doesn't take long to get down here and you watch a game and you're like, wow, this is moving pretty quick. I mean, you notice it, especially if you're juxtaposing, like I was my last trip down here, between watching big league playoff games, where it seems like it's 45 seconds between pitches, and Fall League game, it's like bam, 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 bam.
I also think you're going to see defense improve dramatically as the pace of play picks up. You're a better defender when you're anticipating the next pitch to be thrown.
That was quick work from Muller.
Yeah, that's pretty easy gas right here, guys. It's a really sound delivery.
He's improved that delivery, too. He was a second-round pick out of high school. They polished that delivery up. Second-round pick who got first-round money at $2.5 million. He set a national high school record in his draft year. He struck out 24 straight batters at one point and also finished second in the nation in home runs as a hitter. He's 92-95 usually. We're seeing a little bit better than that tonight, and that wasn't a very good curveball.
Does he have a good curveball?
Yeah, I was going to say, he'll throw a slider, too. He can change it. He can manipulate between a curveball and the slider. It's usually better than that one that kind of rolled out his hand and stayed up in the zone.
That was the pitch clock there again at 7. It's 2 balls and a strike to Daz Cameron, and yet another big arm in the Braves organization on the hill right now. 6'6", 225 pounds. And here comes his 2-1. He works quickly.
Yeah, you know, there's always attrition with pitching prospects, but the Braves have so many of them that they're going to have no trouble putting together a really formidable young rotation. What we saw this year at the big league level, that's just the beginning. They've got more arms coming, and they're coming fast.
Cameron fouls one back. It'll be a full count. And Dan, this also gives GM Alex Anthopoulos the ability to make some trades because of the surplus of pitching in the system.
Well, no doubt, Scotty. When you've got that kind of depth with your pitching prospect, it's something that it's a valuable currency in the game of baseball.
Payoff pitch to Cameron. Spits it to the right side, and it'll twist foul.
Jimmy's got a little bit of late running life on his fastball. Kind of runs away from the barrel of a right-hand hitter.
Yeah, it's pretty solid stuff. I mean, his arm action was a little bit rough coming out of high school, and they've done. I think
they lowered it. It looks like it's more of a three-quarter slot now. It's more of the over-the-top slot, which I think is now giving him some more natural life on his fastball.
Right, and I think it enables him to help him be a little easier to throw a good slider to complement that curveball too.
Another 3-2 to Cameron. Good take on the outside.
You see how Ruiz received that ball right there? You know, that's the key. As a catcher, you're not trying to steal strikes. You're just trying to catch the pitch where the location needs to be. Watch Ruiz right here. He was quiet. He was soft. He didn't try to steal it. All you're trying to do, that is more for the pitcher than an umpire. Umpire knows what a ball and strike is, but you want to give the pitcher the illusion on a consistent basis that you're receiving the ball where he's throwing that pitch to. That, in turn, gives that pitcher the kind of confidence to throw the ball where their catcher is setting up on a consistent basis.
This is Bobby Dahlbeck with Cameron on first.
More power than hittability here, isn't it, Jim?
It is, although he made some strides this year. I mean, he's always going to strike out. He's hitting for power, and he's striking out a lot down here as well. You know, I think it's a case where, you know, using that 20 to 80 scouting scale, if you could get him to be a 45 hitter, then you're going to get 30-plus home runs out of him. It's just going to come down to consistency of contact.
In on the hands, and it's going to fall in center field. Heading for third is Cameron.
Exceptional
base running.
He'll get there. That's great base running by Cameron. He picked that ball up off the bat, He knew the center fielder wasn't going to catch it. He made a great turn at second base, and he forced the action right there. That was exceptional base running.
Yeah, his instincts.
Look at him right here, Jim. Just watch. A peek by the center fielder. He knew immediately.
And Pache's got a plus arm. I mean, and Pache can throw too. So if you hesitate, you might be out at third. But it's interesting, Dan, because you see these guys who grow up around the game.
They have a better awareness.
It seems like a cliche, but you see it time and time again.
Well, I say it, because obviously I have boys that played too.
Pavin Smith up the middle. That'll drive home Cameron, and it's a run for the East Division, their first since the first inning, and they cut into the deficit. It's 3-2.
The conversations you're having at the dinner table is always about the game of baseball. Every time you're watching a game, it's you're talking about the intricacies of the game of baseball, and they just develop more of a sixth sense to how to play the game.
You see it time. I mean, we talk about how advanced Vlad is. Kevin Biggio at Notre Dame, I think the thing that stood out the most about him was his approach. Bo Bichette was going to be in the Fall League, another Blue Jay. He looks super advanced. And I got to tell a quick Dad's Cameron story because I was talking to him earlier in the fall. I was asking him, did your dad ever play in the Fall League? Mike, who had a long career, All-Star Gold Glover. And his dad was ticketed for the Fall League, and he lost his spot to Michael Jordan. When the White Sox decided they were sending Michael Jordan here, Mike Cameron didn't get to come.
That's a good story now. He can tell the rest of his life, though. He got bumped by Michael Jordan.
and he still came back from it to play in the big leagues, I think, 18 years? He hit 4 home runs in a game. Pretty good career for Mike Cameron.
Yeah, it all worked out. Jahmai Jones taking a strike, a ball and a strike to him with 2 runners on.
We've seen a lot of quality at bats this inning, Scotty. Guys not trying to do too much, just taking what pitcher's giving them.
Now, you're right. I mean, Cameron didn't chase. Pavin Smith just, he has that kind of line drive swing. He just went up the middle with it. Nice pick.
Really, really, really nice play there.
I know you're impressed with Ruiz, Dan. He's just 20 years old.
I am impressed by this.
And you look at the Dodgers organization right now. Yasmani Grandal could be a free agent if he doesn't accept the qualifying offer. So there's a chance for him to be in the big leagues quite soon.
Quite soon. I'd say we're pushing a little bit in 2019.
Yeah, and then they have a first-round pick, Will Smith, who was at AA with him for most of the year and moved up to AAA. I think it's 2020 on Ruiz, which would still put him in the big leagues when he's 21 years old.
And will Smith be in front of him because he's 24 years old?
Yeah, a little bit further along in his understanding of how to play the game at that particular position. It's the one position you can't hide at all at the big league level because you're involved in every single play from a defensive standpoint.
Ruiz is a better hitter, though. And I think part of the reason they separated him, too, and Smith struggled with the bats in AAA, is in the minor leagues, you're not going to crush a guy by having him catch 110 games, but they still want, they had him in AA together, but you want to have it to a point where, it'll be interesting because they're both probably going to be in AAA next year. Maybe Ruiz plays the first month in AA because he's so young, but they're going to run into that situation again.
A 2-2 to Jahmai Jones, a breaking pitch, and he sends it to center. Pache has it, and the runners will hold. That's the second out here in the top of the 5th. 1 run on the board here for the East Division. An RBI base hit for Pavin Smith makes it 3-2. And next up is Dalton Varsho.
That young man glides in center field out there, Jim.
He's the best. I think he's the best defensive outfielder in the minors.
And you see him get behind that ball. Fundamentally, he did everything perfect on that play.
He's so good, and there's a lot of good center fielders. Most of them can't throw. Well, he can throw too.
Well, that and it's the physicality of him, the way he moves, and that's a really big young man.
He, like I said in the open last year, everybody was talking about Ronald Acuna, and rightfully so. Braves 5-tool outfielder. He's still learning offensively. He hasn't translated the speed into steals. He hasn't hit for a lot of power yet. But I was talking to an American League assistant GM this week. Everybody loves his defense and the speed and athleticism. He said, I think he's going to be a 20-plus home run guy once he matures at the plate. I mean, he's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a baby yet. They just need to take their time with him, and they have because of the depth of the talent in their system, they don't have to rush any of their young players.
No, definitely. Vlad Guerrero Jr., youngest player in the Fall League. Christian Pache is the second youngest player in the Fall League.
Varsho lays off the pitch. It's 1-2, and Pache also has someone to look up to in the Braves major league team in center field, and that's Ender Inciarte, who plays the position very well.
I'll go out on a limb here. Ender is very, very good. I think Pache is will be a better center fielder, and I think he's going to definitely be a better hitter. Not that there's anything wrong with Ender, but I think when Pache is ready, he's going to take that job.
He's going to be a better hitter, or you think he's going to have more power? I might argue a little bit on the pure hit ability there.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll have a total offensive package.
Okay,
I'll take
sure.
You're fine. You're keeping me honest. That's fair.
We're negotiating.
That's why I love working with Dan on this in the draft. No, because you say something, Dan will challenge you or get you to clarify a little bit. That was a good one there.
Varsho caught looking by Muller. He does give up the 1 run to make this a 1-run contest here at the Fall Stars game. Tight game between the East and the West as we are halfway through. MLB Network's special coverage of the 2018 Fall Stars game is presented by Bowman Baseball Cards, the first place to find the game's future stars. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at bat number 3 is on its way, and this is the scouting report, and he is the #1 overall prospect in the majors according to MLBpipeline.com, a list that Jim Callis is a part of putting together, and the reasons are easy.
Yeah, and he, like I said, and I'll ask Dan. I mean, Dan's been around the game for a long time. I guess I'm calling us both old. He's the best hitting prospect I can remember.
Jim, it's really phenomenal. I just can't get over how easy he does everything. And I use the Manny Ramirez only because that's my reference points based on my experience. He has that same relaxed, confident approach in the box, like he really understands what he's trying to do on every pitch. I mean, look at that.
Scorches it to left field. It's off the wall, off the base of the wall, and Guerrero is going to stand up at second base with a leadoff double.
Okay, Scott.
And now he's moving to third, and he's going to get there. Look at the base running awareness by the 19-year-old, and a little emphasis when he gets there.
Okay, now did you hear the sound off of his bat? There are certain guys that you'll hear in your career that the ball simply sounds different coming off his bat. Hear that sound? That's the sound of an impact, middle of the lineup, future MVP type candidate. That's that sound.
And I like a guy that celebrates a triple because he probably doesn't have too many in his career.
When I talked about baseball awareness when I did the makeup grade, that's baseball awareness and instincts right there, being able to take the extra base.
It would be easy in an all-star game like this. I mean, you're not playing for, to win a game necessarily that means something. That's a routine double to kind of jog into second and take it easy, and he did.
Actually, he broke really well around the bag at first base, too, anticipating that it was a double. He hit it so hard, I think he wasn't sure at first.
Yeah.
And that will be scored a double and an error. The second charged against the East Division.
He's a fun, guys, for me, this has been a joy. It's the first time I've actually had a chance to see him play live. And, you listen to a lot of the hype, and usually doesn't meet your expectation. Tonight, it's real around this young man.
When you hear the Miguel Cabrera comparisons, Mickey many times looks like he's having a blast on the field because he's so good and the game comes naturally to him. I see a lot of that, Dan.
Well, Scotty, when you've got the ability to swing the bat that way, you have a chance to be a little bit more relaxed than most players.
His teammate Kevin Biggio,
nice
fair ball
play
down the line, a great diving stop by Peter Alonso at first.
Phenomenal play.
And Guerrero has to stay at third. Alonso lost his cap.
You can tell Peter's put a lot of work in over there from his days at the University of Florida, Jim. He's improved defensively a lot. You can tell he's really worked.
He has. It's interesting because you talk to scouts, and that's still a topic of discussion out here. I think there's still work to be done, but he has improved. I saw a day out here where he made a couple not nice plays. It's still work in progress, but the thing that's nice about it, look, we all know the power is going to carry him. That's going to be the tool. And it would be, there's some guys who kind of blow off defense a little bit, and he is not.
Well, you can't blow it off anymore. In the age of analytics and the way defense now measures to win games, it's just you simply have to be a complete player anymore to be able to play this game at the highest level.
And the nice thing about that play, Brody Van Wagenen in the house tonight to watch that. So he's seen Peter Alonso, probably his first baseman at some point next year. Probably should be opening day. Hit a home run with 110-mile-an-hour exit velocity, apparently, and make a nice play at first base.
See another young man in Thornton, Jim, with a well above average fastball, very, very quick arm.
He's interesting. There's some deception in that delivery.
There is
it's
funkiness.
Quick.
Little Brock type action for me out there. Brad Brock.
He's got a pretty good curveball and slider, and he can mix in a changeup, and he throws a lot of strikes. It's going to be. I think he'll be in Houston at some point next year. He was in AAA this year. Had a pretty solid year. I think we'll see him in Houston next year once he throws strikes a little bit more consistently. I'll be curious to see what role. He might be that valuable multi-inning reliever. Nice pitch.
Yeah, he rings up Ryan McKenna, who just entered the game as a pinch hitter.
And he's all over 96, too. And he really does have some deception. See how he hides the ball behind his delivery?
Yeah, guys just don't pick it up.
And now Thornton will face Buddy Reed, who just entered the game. Thornton, 25 years old, and you mentioned, Jim, he had a better AAA season this year, posting an ERA in the mid-4s compared to the previous season. So it took him a couple seasons to get settled at the highest level of the minor leagues. And he fools Reed on the first pitch.
Yeah, we were talking about Buddy before the game, Dan and I were. I mean, he's got some of the best tools in this game. He can play center field. He's got I keep saying center fielders can't throw, but Buddy Reed can throw. He's got raw power. He's got well above average speed. And we're seeing what we talked about before the game with him. It's going to come down to be able to hit the breaking ball.
And again, for me, when you look at the length of his arm, guys with longer arms have a little bit longer swing path to be more consistent from a contact standpoint. That's something he really, really has to learn. See, he committed there early. And he's got, the package to play is exceptional, but he's going to have to learn to make more consistent contact to be a regular at the big league level.
Yeah, he'll definitely play in the big leagues with his tools. But how long he plays there and what kind of role he has is going to depend on the bat. I mean, he's an unbelievable athlete. We had him on our MLB Pipeline podcast toward the end of the season. He played 8 different sports in high school. 8.
How does that happen?
He's got this infectious personality, too. You can tell he loves the game. He loves being around his teammates. He brings energy just in his presence, which is exceptionally valuable when you're putting together a club. But whether he's an everyday player for that club or an extra outfielder, really it's all going to come down to his ability to make more adjustments with his swing to be able to make more consistent contact.
Anybody who watched the Futures game saw how much he loves to play the game.
He does.
He had a blast.
23 years old, the 13th ranked prospect in the Padres system. A flare to left, but it's foul.
Really choking up on the bat, too.
Is that only with 2 strikes there?
I wasn't paying close enough attention. I think so.
I can tell you he's wringing his hands out right now. That one hurt. That one got very, very deep in on his hands. See him shaking it out right now?
Yeah, and he talks here about, you look at the scouting report about the adjustments he made to try to be shorter to the ball and get more extension. And he made, pitch recognition seemed like it was better in high class A, that he made some strides. And he went to double A and he struggled again with the bat. I think it's going to be a little bit longer development process for him. 96 in, pretty tough there.
Yeah, it's above his hands, too, really. That's just a very tough pitch to hit.
Good heat from Trent Thornton keeps the West Division off the board. Pete Alonso leads up in the top of the 6th inning here from Surprise, Arizona. And the 2018 Fall Stars game continues. Well, Peter Alonso might be on his way to Fall Stars MVP honors, and he participated in the 2018 Futures game and hit this mammoth shot measured at 415 feet. StatCast giving us exit velocity at 113.6 miles per hour with a launch angle of 46 degrees. Is that not a GM's dream, Dan O'Dowd?
I'm just trying to figure out how he got to that launch angle on that pitch. I mean, that's really impressive.
It was crazy. I was doing that game, and it looked like a pop-up that just kept going and going and going, and you thought it was going to land on the concourse.
Well, he has a home run back in the 1st inning in this game.
And then he saw 3 sliders his next time up, so let's see what he sees here.
That's from David McKay, 6'3", 23 years old in the Mariners system, so he challenges Alonso.
McKay's kind of averaged the solid stuff across the board. He was sent to the Mariners from the Royals in a straight purchase in spring training, had a really nice year in the minors, and then finds himself here in the Fall Stars game. Not a top prospect, but really had a nice year for himself.
He was purchased by the Mariners from the Royals in March. The Royals gave up on him after his first full pro season. He posted an ERA above 7 when he blows a fastball by Alonso, and then this past season, Jim, you're right, a 2.5 ERA. Very high strikeout numbers.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a definite plus pitch. It's kind of a 92, 93 mile an hour fastball usually, and he's got a breaking ball and changeup. That looked a little funky there coming out of his hand there.
It's like a quality pitch.
Come on, Peter.
Alonso stays alive. Well, he has a chance to play in this entire game. We've seen a ton of substitutions. We'll continue to keep you posted on those, but the Mets have a new general manager, Brodie Van Wagenen, just a couple days ago, introduced officially by the team in his first order of business heading out to this Fall Stars game to watch Alonso.
And I think he is, according to my calculations, I think there's 6 position player subs, and I think they're all in the game. So I think we are getting Peter Alonso, Andaz, Cameron, and Pavey Smith for the duration in this one. Also helps when the other first baseman's DH.
That's right. 3-2. And that is a free pass for Alonso to start off the 6th. His team trailing by a run. Here's David McKay. Luis Barrera up next as he enters the game out of the A's system. And Jim, I looked at your scouting report for him on MLBpipeline.com. I see Toolsy.
No, he's interesting. He was not a guy I was really that familiar with before I came down here, and he is tools. He's got plus speed. He's got a solid to plus arm. More of kind of a line drive, on-base approach at the plate over the power. Had a nice year in Double-A, high in Double-A.
Right there.
And a nice swing to right center field. Alonso's going to go first to third, and he's trying for second. And the throw is there with plenty of time to nail Barrera for the first out here in the 6th. Too aggressive there, Dan?
Yeah, no, not in this game. You know, he read it right off the bat. I've got to have a player. I've got to tone somebody down and turn somebody up. I thought that was a really aggressive move to make. Like how short his swing is to the ball, Jim.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing there, though, like pointing to the dugout and kind of slowing down and then deciding that was a double, because I didn't think it was a double off the... If that's a double off the bat, then you got to be busting a little quicker. But yeah, that was a nice swing.
You got Mr. Biggio. Scotty now moved over to first base. He's starting to show some position versatility. I want to mention that because that's becoming such a crucial part of today's game. Finding a roster that has a ton of players that have built-in versatility, specifically ones that have offensive impact capability too.
And the infield playing in against Austin Listy. His first trip to the plate.
Power, Jim.
He does. He's an interesting guy. You know, he holds the single season and career home run records at Dallas Baptist. Hit 24 as a senior before they made him a 17th round pick. He took a year off in college and entered the Navy SEAL program.
I know. How about that?
Fascinating
to be
story.
a Navy SEAL.
And then, you know, it wasn't that he watched out, but he had a wife, and I don't know if he had a daughter at the time, and decided that was not necessarily the best career for a family guy. Came back to Dallas Baptist and hit 18 home runs this year, hit 312. A little bit older because of that year off and being a senior sign, but kind of an interesting guy.
Well, you know, this type of draft for me really shows how important scouts are to our game.
Listy to short. The only play for Cole Tucker is to first, so it scores Peter Alonso, and the East Division has evened up the game at 3.
To find that kind of kid in that part of the round just gets down guys to really good area scout.
No, it is. It is. I mean, you're getting a guy in the 17th rounder who's got a chance to be in the big leagues. You're doing fine work there.
Alonso comes in.
Tie ball game. It's amazing, Scotty, when we have contact.
Austin Listy, and that's going to do it for David McKay. New pitcher coming up. We'll fill you in when we come back from Surprise. We are tied at 3. Hey, the Red Sox are World Series champs. Celebrate with official caps, t-shirts, hoodies, jerseys, jackets, and more. Find all the gear you need at MLBshop.com. Play Ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. San Diego Chicken causing all kinds of problems today, Jim.
Well, he almost ran over Dalton Varsho, so he deserves to be pelted with water balloons. I think that's Mike Hazen throwing those water balloons.
That's his punishment. And then he lost it all.
That's a bad look.
That is. Back to Surprise, Arizona. It's 3-3 as the East Division just tied up the game. An Austin Listy ground ball with the infield in, but they did not have a play home. It scored Peter Alonso, and it knocked the pitcher out of the game. Now Matt Crook in there, the 6'4", 225-pounder, one of 4 players acquired by the Rays from the Giants in that Evan Longoria blockbuster deal back in December of 2017.
Yeah, and it looked like coming out of high school he was going to be a Marlin. He was a supplemental first-round pick, agreed to a deal, all set to go, and he failed the physical. Wound up having Tommy John surgery at Oregon. Came back, went in the 4th round. He's just been inconsistent health-wise and command-wise. When he's on, he can show you an unbelievable curveball. Like I've heard people put a 7 on the curveball times. It could be 92, 96. I think he's a long-term reliever, needs to throw strikes.
And he's facing Andres Jimenez, just 20 years old. He's actually the Mets' top-rated prospect, number 55 overall, according to MLBpipeline.com.
Real field ahead. He, is a plus base runner, base stealer, good defender. And again, he is 20 years old.
And he's down on strikes. So Matt Crook enters the game, faces one batter in Jimenez, retires him via K, and we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, all tied up here at Surprise, Arizona.
Today.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. 3 per side from Surprise, Arizona, and when I say a perfect night, a perfect day, weather-wise, it has been spectacular so far this weekend here in Arizona. That's what you expect here in November for some Arizona Fall League baseball, the Fall Stars game. Mabrice Valoria
checking in at catcher and getting his first at-bat of the day against the new pitcher, the left-hander Devin Smeltzer, now in the Twins organization. He was part of that Brian Dozier trade this past season.
Yeah, he's kind of an uncomfortable look for a lefty because he has that crossfire delivery. He doesn't throw her hard. It's more 88, 90, but he was really good control of his curveball. That's his money pitch. I think we're looking, probably left situational lefty is his long-term role. Fifth-round pick out of San Jacinto Junior College. Struck out 20 in his final junior college start of the Junior College World Series before signing with the Dodgers.
It really is a very inspirational story, too. He's diagnosed with bladder and prostate cancer before his 10th birthday. So this young man has had to fight through an awful lot to get to the position he's in right now.
And it was a nice story that we saw. I think it was on MLB Network even, that when he was young, he interacted with Chase Utley, was like on the Phillies, one of his favorite players. And this year in spring training, Dave Roberts brought him over and introduced him to the clubhouse. And I don't think Utley had any idea that this was happening, and informed Chase Utley that this was a kid he'd kind of given some inspiration and hope to. Just a really heartwarming story.
And you look at that uncomfortable look. 92 upstairs. Yeah, that is an uncomfortable swing from Gloria.
Yeah, that looked like self-defense, like he thought the ball was going to hit him in the head. I mean, it comes out from way behind him, and it's...
Yeah, it was such a crossfire, too. He's throwing so far across his body. It's a really uncomfortable at-bat for a left-handed hitter.
And now he faces Luis Robert.
What do you got here, Jim?
Well, it's hard to say what you have on Robert because he's been hurt so much. He had some minor injuries in his pro debut. I mean, this guy signed for $26 million and matching penalty tax, so $52 million to sign him. I see some similarities to Yohan Moncada when they signed him. Moncada's the only guy who got more money. He's electric, but he's kind of raw, unrefined, kind of like a young stallion as a prospect. I mean, he can really run. He's got electric bat speed. Hasn't translated to a lot of power yet, but he hurt his thumb diving for a ball in spring training and then re-aggravated, so he really didn't play a lot this year. So after 1.5 professional seasons, he's barely played, and even down here he hurt a hamstring, so I have not even seen a lot of him down here. So my impression is still kind of a work in progress.
And Devin Smeltzer also makes quick work of Robert. We'll say this, Danny should be buying many dinners for everyone out here in the Arizona Fall League. He is the richest player in this league. That $26 million to come out of Cuba back in May of 2017. He's the number 44 overall prospect according to MLB Pipeline.
Well, Jim said it so well, Scotty. You can't develop players if they can't stay on the field. One of the talents, we talk about 5-tool players. One of the tools we don't talk about enough is a sixth one, and that's durability. Is that to play the game and play it well, you have to have a lot of reps. To do that, you have to be able to get on the field on a consistent basis.
Second most money given to a player, a prospect, to Yohan Moncada, and rules have actually since changed, so you're not able to give that much cash to an amateur player coming internationally anymore.
I would think he's probably a big part of the White Sox rebuild for him to hit on a consistent basis. Does he profile more, Jim, in center or in right field?
And these are some of the contracts that we've seen from Cuban baseball players coming to the major leagues or the minor leagues, including 6 years, $68 million for Jose Abreu, who's also in the White Sox.
And there's a lot of hit or misses on that board right now. It's kind of 50-50, so to speak, and guys that have impacted their major league clubs and guys that really haven't done much of anything.
Yeah, Rusney Castillo in the minor leagues still for the Boston Red Sox, signed for $72 million. It's a big cut and a miss from Khalil Lee in a full count.
Yeah, you were asking it with Robert. I mean, again, I think we need to see more of him to know exactly where Robert's going to fit. I like Luis Alexander Basabe. He's also out here, was in the Futures game, not in the game tonight, more of a center fielder. I think he has a chance to play center. He could wind up in right field, again, because I like Basabe, but at least if you're looking for a silver lining, or at least something not to be as worried about, they've all been different. It's not been a chronic thing, like he's got a chronic knee injury, but still, you invest that kind of money, you'd really like to see him play.
Quality at bat by Lee right there that's left on left. And again, we talked about how uncomfortable and at bat it is. And he's a very interesting kid. To me, his batting practice today somewhat surprised me. He backspin the ball all over the ballpark exceptionally well.
He's got more power than you might think if you just saw him. And he has a chance to beat Prickly. I think he gets a chance to stay in center. We saw his arm tonight. It's a really good arm. He threw out Barrera at second. And Dan, going back to high school, there were some teams on him as a pitcher. He was a low 90s lefty with a good slider, too. Very athletic.
Khalil Lee with a base on balls, and that is it for Devin Smeltzer. So 3-3 in the 6th. We'll be right back. It's the 27th season of the Arizona Fall League, and this league has seen 278 MLB All-Star selections, 95 Silver Sluggers, 83 Gold Gloves, 29 Rookies of the Year, 17 MVPs, 12 batting champs, and 6 Cy Young winners. Jim Callis, you've seen many of these players.
I have, and I think we may need to update that list pretty soon because I think Mookie Betts and Christian Yelich are going to add to the MVP total, and you could see Ronald Acuna and Gleyber Torres, the last 2 MVPs out here, add to the Rookie of the Year total.
We'll have some updating to do, and those awards will be presented on MLB Network coming up this month. Melvin Adon, 6'3", 235 pounds. He's 24 years old in the San Francisco Giants system, and he delivers a strike to Cole Tucker. It's his first at-bat of the day.
First pitch, 99. I think we're seeing a trend in baseball. We saw it all through the year at the big league level. There's just a lot of power arms in our game right now.
Tucker gets a hold of one, and he spits it to right field. It's a base hit, and flying from first to third is Khalil Lee, and he'll get there. Moving up to second on the throw is Tucker, and 2 in scoring position for the West here in the 6th.
Great base running on Tucker. He read the guy in front of him completely, read that it wasn't going to be cut. And, you know, the beauty of that, guys, is it takes the defense out of throwing one pitch and getting a double play. That's very good baseball awareness and instincts.
Yeah, I really like Khalil Lee. He can help you in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, he's a really interesting player. So is this young man, Jim.
Tucker or Adon?
No. Look at the trail run right here that I was mentioning. See, watch Tucker and his read now. He read that exceptionally well.
And it was nice. He never stopped running.
No.
Like, he wasn't necessarily committing to going, but he was ready to go if he got the opportunity, which he did.
And Tucker can run, and he can run with smarts. He led the Eastern League in stolen bases this season, 35 of them. A potential future shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates, although he has some competition in former first-round pick Kevin Newman, who saw a bit of the big leagues this year, Jim.
Yeah, I like Tucker a little bit more long-term than Newman. I think he's a better shortstop. Probably similar runners. I think Tucker has a chance to have more pop with the bat. So I think I like him. I'll tell you another shortstop to watch in the organization. He might be the tallest shortstop in big league history if he stays there. Is O'Neal Cruz, who we'll probably see in the fall league next year. Could see him in the futures game next year. O'Neal Cruz is, I think, 6'6", 6'7", and moves pretty well at shortstop.
We're one pitch away here from Vlad coming up with the bases loaded, guys.
Have to pitch to him.
This young man, too, he had a good year for the Tribe, ended up getting all the way to AAA. He's got some home runs, plays the middle of the diamond.
6th best prospect and he was signed out of Taiwan in June of 2013, number 6 in the Cleveland Indians organization. Hard contact, and it's over the head of Daz Cameron. It'll bring home 2 runs, and here goes Chang for third. And he's going to get there safely. A 2 RBI triple for Yu Chang. Let her rip. 5-3 West Division.
Jimmy, that was a 3-1 fastball that he jumped all over, up in the zone. He laid a head on it. Beautiful swing, stayed within himself, used the entire field. Look how this ball just took off.
Yeah, I mean, Daz Cameron has good instincts, too. I was surprised to see that go over his head because the way he was going after it, I thought he looked like he had tracked it, and I think it just took off on him.
Tucker never hesitated at second base, so his read was phenomenal. That ball was going over his head.
Now runner at third and 2 down for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who actually did the same celebration when he reached third base earlier in the game. Back in the bottom of the 5th. Also a walk for Guerrero. Gets a piece of that one. It's a ball and a strike. This is the celebration I'm talking about. This must be a team thing. That's shooting the arrow up in the air twice? What is that?
That launch angle looks like Peter Alonso's home run from the Futures game. That was pretty high. You know, on that, getting back to Guerrero, that double last at bat, the exit velocity was 117 miles an hour. And just to put that in perspective, in the StatCast era, which I think goes back to 2015, you throw out Aaron Judge and you throw out Giancarlo Stanton, only 13 players have hit a ball 100 or had a hit on the ball 117 miles an hour or greater.
This is a power game now, and we're seeing that in this Fall Stars game. Guerrero Jr. stays alive again. Dan, he's got what his dad had in the ability to make contact with baseballs that are not necessarily in the strike zone, yet he can also work walks, which his father did not do very frequently.
Scotty, you just don't see this kind of bat come along. We could call a lot of games out here over a lot of years, and this is special. Just the ability to foul that pitch off.
He does take the 1-2.
Good pitch.
That's a big strikeout from Melvin Adon to prevent any further damage. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. goes down, and Blue Jays fans might see him very soon. Yu Chang could be in the Indians' big league squad very soon. He drives in 2. The West Division grabs the lead, 5-3, 2 times. That's right.
Eastern.
All year long, they brought their best. Now it's trophy time, and all the big awards are up for grabs. Who will win? Find out exclusively on MLB Network starting Monday with the Baseball Writers Association Award Finalist Show. Monday, 6 o'clock Eastern on MLB Network. This is the projected 2022 opening day outlook for the Toronto Blue Jays. And in the cleanup spot at third base, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And fans hope that he's part of the 2019 opening day roster too, Dan O'Dowd. And the 16th day of the 2019 season is when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could be called up and be eligible for a 7th year of service. You like how I did that math already?
I got you. Yeah, you kind of backed
You know what I'm pointing to here. Yeah, when is he coming up to the show? Could he come up on opening day, or if you're a GM at this point, do you wait another couple weeks because you get 7 years out of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., one of the better prospects we've seen in a while, and he's playing in this game. First pitch swinging, and that is in foul ground, and Daz Cameron will make that. Khalil Lee has it in right field. Nice play by Lee, and he retires Cameron for the first out.
Christian Pache recognizes good outfield defense there and applauds. Dan, I don't think there's any way he's on their opening day roster. They're not projected to contend next year. You can't. I mean, it stinks. I thought he should have been up on merit this September.
You notice I didn't answer that question from Scott. I just went into the action on the field.
Oh well, Dan, I was going to keep asking.
Yeah. You have to wait and see how things plays out in the spring training.
First pitch swinging up the middle. Bobby Dahlbeck will make that Nico Horner with the base hit.
That's a good swing.
He's the only position player from this year's draft in the fall league. Takes 98 right back up the middle against Jordan Sheffield, first-round pick out of Stanford. Interesting guy. I heard an Ian Kinsler comp on him. I think he may wind up at second base.
Good call.
Kind of like that comp a little bit.
Good call.
It's his first at-bat here tonight, and he was a Final Two vote candidate, voted on by the fans to make it into this game, and that's Jordan Sheffield on the mound, 23 years old. A top 30 prospect in the Dodgers organization, number 26.
He's a Vandy kid, still trying to figure out, for me, some of his secondary pitches. Even in college, I projected him more as a bullpen guy than a starter. I thought his motor ran better, out of the bullpen than it did as a starter. His feel, his understanding, his ability to make adjustments.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he can show you 3+ pitches at times, but he has
inconsistency.
He's very inconsistent with them. He's had injury issues. Small sample size, but he's pitched very well in 5 or 6 innings down here. I think the relief role just makes things simpler and more comfortable for him, and it's probably easier to keep him healthier. Now, his brother is going to be a starter. Justice Sheffield with the Yankees, probably in their rotation at some point next year, and perhaps on opening day because he's already been up.
And Justice Sheffield was the starter in the Fall Stars game last season.
Jim, let me ask you about Mr. Smith here. Another guy where it's more hit ability over power for a position. That kind of profiles, for power.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Diamondbacks put a 5 on it when they took him 7th overall, but it's, he didn't have a great year this year in the Cal League, did not drive the ball very much. He's, hit over power and kind of an average defender. I mean, it's a little bit of an unusual profile for a guy who goes in the top 10 to be a first base only guy.
Power can come a little later, though.
It can.
The hitability is good, and he starts to learn how to angle balls a little bit better at the plate and sit on pitches and counts in certain situations.
I mean, he is a good hitter, but a 4 hitter's not going to play. 4 power's not going to play at first base, and even 5, you might want a little bit more than that. So I'll be curious to see what happens with him next year.
Well, if 5 power is going to play at that position anymore in the game, it's going to come because he's got a 7 or 8 back.
Right.
He's down on strikes, and there'll be a new pitcher. So with 2 outs here in the 7th, there's Pavin Smith going down, and Paul Goldschmidt, pretty good looking first baseman, is up there for that.
He's pretty good.
Although he is a free agent after next season, just 1 more year under control. We can get into it when we come back, as Blake Wyman is about to enter the game here in Surprise.
It's Gatorade.
Here we look at some scouting reports from Fall League a few years ago. Mike Trout, I think that report worked out pretty well. Power was even better than we thought. Look here, Bryce Harper, facial hair got a lot better when he got to the big leagues. But yeah, big-time power, big-time arm. I don't know if he was the most exciting player versus Trout. That would have been pretty interesting. The hype was warranted. And then Nolan Arenado, the bat carried him to the big leagues. But Dan, you're pretty familiar with this guy. The glove's pretty good too.
You know what? He ended up being the MVP of this league in the year he played here. And really kind of that cemented for us what kind of impact prospect we had on our hands.
Now Shed Long for his first plate appearance this evening. Here at the top of the 7th, 2 outs, and a runner moving for second. The throw in time. Mabrice Valoria gunning down Nico Horner at second.
He'd run off the field as soon as he made that throw, Scotty.
He knew he had him. Blake Wyman doesn't have to do much on the mound. Maybe we'll see him in the next frame. Top of the 7th comes to a close, and there's that gun. Accurate, and a nice tag put on by Cole Tucker.
Man,
The Toronto Blue Jays have some names, some bloodlines in their minor league system. That's Casey Clemens, son of Roger. Oh, there are so many more names. Like Griffin Conine, son of Jeff. And I remember talking to GM Ross Atkins of the Toronto Blue Jays saying, do you guys pinpoint these kind of players? He said, no, we just happen to land many of them, like Kevin Biggio, son of the Hall of Famer Craig. And then Dante Bichette's son, Bo Bichette, one of the top prospects in the sport. And in this Fall Stars game, everyone excited to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the top prospect, according to MLBpipeline.com. Here are all the names. Dan, do you believe, Ross, that they weren't looking for players with fathers who played in the bigs?
No, I'm struggling with that. I think he's trying not to let anybody know that they have a tendency to find success that way, but it's worked. All those players are really good-looking players. All of them should play in the big leagues.
They might all be up on a big league roster around the same time.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it?
That would be incredible. An infield with Bo Bichette at shortstop, Guerrero Jr. at third, maybe Kevin Biggio at second base. Wow.
Hey, you know, Lourdes Gurriel, who was in my lineup, he's a son of a guy, too. He was a son of a Cuban legend. Lourdes Gurriel was a great hitter on those Cuban teams back when I covered Team USA, and they used amateurs, I guess amateurs in quotes, for the Cuban national team in the Olympics. So he's a son of as well.
First pitch is a strike to Biggio from Adon, who's back for another inning. Melvin Adon, 24 years old in the Giants system.
It's a small sample size, but he's looked a little bit more mature on the mound down here. He's a guy who can run it up to 102. Look, it's good timing there. He makes it. He tells the truth there. Shows out. Knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, he's a guy who's always thrown hard, but he's signed late. He was 21 years old when he signed out of the Dominican, which is really an advanced age to sign out of the Dominican. And he's never thrown a lot of strikes or had a lot of success. He's going to be a reliever long term. But down here, he's been, outside of throwing 102 there, focusing more on the two-seamer. And he's really tightened up the slider and had more consistency with it, and really, looked more like the two-pitch reliever he's probably going to be in the long term.
That was a great at-bat there, too, by Biggio. I mean, it's a 102 fastball running away from the barrel of his bat, and he absolutely smoked a bullet right at the shortstop. He's been impressive tonight. He's had a couple really quality at-bats. His approach has been very good.
Like you mentioned, Dan, he's going from left field to first base in this game, and he's played a lot of second base as well. That's a valuable asset to the Blue Jays organization.
Mr. McKenna's got a wonderful opportunity with the transition the Orioles are about to go through. Any young player that blossoms within that organization is going to get an opportunity to play at the big league level.
No, you're definitely right. He's having a great fall league. Had a tremendous year in the Carolina League, High Class A, and then struggled in Double-A, but he's gotten back on track here, driven the ball with more consistency than he'd shown during the minor league season.
He's down on a comebacker. But
there's some athleticism in that body, too. Some explosiveness.
And you're right, this past week, 4 for 6, a double and a home run to solidify that final spot for the West Division. Here's the delivery of the Don.
I mean, he made a nice play. I really wish he stepped and throw the ball to first base.
He's long. Another big boy coming to the hill. It's 6'2", 245-pound Darwinzon Hernandez. We'll introduce the new pitcher in a moment. More talent coming soon for the World Series champs. This is Darwinzon Hernandez, 21 years old, and the 7th-ranked organizational prospect. Signed out of Venezuela for $7,500 in August of 2013. This has been a steal for the Red Sox, Dan.
And just speaking of the Red Sox, too, watching batting practice, I saw 2 Red Sox scouts in the stands. So they just won a World Series. They just had their parade, and yet the game of baseball does not stop. They're out watching prospects again. They're out here evaluating where this guy is and how far he's away to be able to help their big league club. It's the cycle of the game just simply doesn't stop.
Buddy Reed fouls that one off. It's 0-2.
Well, I remember in 2015 when the Royals won, just about everybody's favorite Royals front office guys, Art Stewart, who's in his mid-80s.
He's out here.
Art was out here, I think, it might have been 2 days after the World Series ended, because he felt like he was behind. He wanted to see everybody. It was awesome.
Buddy Reed swings through. That's impressive work from Hernandez.
Devastating slider.
Red Sox fans, get excited.
They should.
They're celebrating now, and they might be celebrating again sometime soon. Hernandez, nastiness, gets Reed, and we are through 7.
Warriors.
Top of the order for the East Division. Welcome back to Surprise, Arizona, the spring training home of the Rangers and the Royals, and the AFL home to the Surprise Seguros. It's the Arizona Fall League 13th Fall Stars game. Scott Braun, Jim Callis, Dan O'Dowd, and that is ball 1 to Shed Long from Blake Wyman. And Dan, I was hoping Wyman would get another inning because he came on for, what, a couple pitches?
One pitch.
Yeah.
And then caught stealing was Nico Horner.
You know, watching this young man take BP today, Jim, he's got really good hands to hit and surprising power.
Yeah, he's definitely an offensive second baseman. Another example, good scouting, 12th round pick out of Alabama.
We're seeing that a lot. And again, these area scouts are just such a vital part of an organization's success.
And Dan, you know what I start doing? Looking at who the upcoming free agents are for the Cincinnati Reds. At second base, Scooter Gennett has 1 year left under contract with the team.
But you need to find a place where Nick Senzel can play.
That's a good point. He's the top prospect in the Cincinnati Reds organization.
He played some outfield this fall in instructional league.
They've got a lot of outfielders, though, too. So position player-wise, it has not been the issue with the Reds. They do a good job of drafting and develop position players.
No, you're right. And I think we'll see Senzel in the big leagues next year. I just would not want to have to bet on which position he'll do.
And that's a strikeout for Wyman. One away here in the top of the 8th. MLB Network's special coverage of the 2018 Fall Stars game is presented by Bowman Baseball Cards, the first place to find the game's future stars. 6,883 packing this house in Surprise. That is a Fall Stars record.
Rogers came in the Verlander deal too, didn't he, Jim?
He did. It was Cameron and Rogers and Franklin Perez.
So what was a third-round pick, wasn't he, for the Astros?
He was. And there were some scouts who thought he was the best defensive player in that draft. He's got, the arm is probably, in terms of pure strength, solid. It's a 55, but he is such a quick transfer and so accurate. He's thrown out 48% of base stealers as a pro. He's got some power. He's got some walks. He's inconsistent with the bat, and the bat's going to determine, whether he's a bat. He'll play in the big leagues for sure, whether he's a backup or a regular.
Dan, what have you observed at third base from Guerrero Jr.? Hold that thought. Wyman's out. We're going to have a new pitcher, but we'll go back to that play. DeMarcus Evans is going to enter for the West Division as they have a 5-3 lead here in the 8th.
Insurance.
Well, guys, I have been blessed in my career. I mean, look at the names of the players I've been fortunate to be a part of developing into big league players. First and foremost, it comes down to great scouting. When you've got great scouts, it makes it easier to develop players. But the one common attribute for every single one of these guys is not that they were just, they love the game of baseball. They weren't passionate about it. They absolutely loved everything about it. And they got the most out of their ability in every way possible.
DeMarcus Evans now on the mound. And I do want to go back to that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. play because you saw a lot of Nolan Arenado, and he was not that impressive like he is now in the major leagues at third base when you first brought him into the organization, Dan.
He wasn't. It was an acquired skill. The one thing Nolan really had a strong desire to be great at third base. The one thing I've noticed about Vlad is that if you watch here, you see how the step reaction was late. He was a little bit on his heels, and his jump step to get set, he rocked to his heels. He didn't rock forward, and so he was late. The difference with Nolan reacted to the ball before the ball ever left the bat. Vlad's reaction to the ball tonight on the plays he's had to make was after the ball had already left the bat. It's something he definitely can get better at, but it's something he's going to have to want to get better. His want to be a defender has to be as strong as his want to be an elite offensive player.
I read about how the Dodgers were working on anticipating baseballs coming towards Manny Machado when he joined the organization. So is that something you can work on, anticipation, as it's a 4-pitch free pass for Peter Alonso and he gets to first?
It is. It absolutely is. It's something you can simulate on a regular basis. Difficult to do at a game speed, but if he does it, I call it perfect practice, Scotty. If he practices as close to perfect as he can, it'll eventually, over time, translate into games.
So up to second.
This game's getting interesting, guys.
We have first and second, Alonso with the walk. And that's a chop shot to first. And the only play is to first for Biggio, and he'll make it. So now 2 runners in scoring position. That's Luis Barrera grounding out, and Austin Listy, who drove in the last run for the East, coming up next, and a chance to do damage. And DeMarcus Evans on the mound, who's an interesting pitcher as we check out this last play by Biggio. He only had 1 play.
You see the base running on Alonso part there? He took the angle of throw away from Biggio going into second base. So, again, when you're evaluating the game, you're looking at the little nuances within the game for players' understanding of how to play winning baseball. That was a winning move.
First pitch taken.
Okay, let's watch this play again. Now see, it's a high chop. Look at Alonso goes to the back side of the bat. So he takes the throwing lane completely away from Biggio, and it only allows him to go to first base. Now, if they get a base hit here, they have a chance to tie the game up.
And if anyone can nail down a strikeout, it's DeMarcus Evans, who has put up a 16.6 strikeout per 9 ratio this past season in the minor leagues.
I think it's
he led all relievers.
Yeah, he led all minor league baseball.
And he's a guy, we're seeing what he does here. He's got a power curveball around 84 miles an hour. He throws in the mid-90s. Might be a little amped up because he's having trouble throwing for strikes, but talking about great scouting like we're at the beginning of this inning, he was a 25th round pick in 2015 out of a Mississippi high school. The Rangers already have 2 pitchers drafted later in that draft who've been in the big leagues. Jeffrey Springs, a 30th rounder, Sidney Pelham, who was out here for a little bit and went home in the 33rd round. And one of their best starting pitching prospects was a 16th rounder in that same draft. So the Rangers found some nice arms late in the 2015
those area
draft.
scouts got some bonuses at the end of the year.
You hope so.
And Dan, this fastball looks like it's dancing.
It moves a lot.
It's electric. And again, there's not a ton of effort involved in his delivery.
He was a guy who was a starter and really struggled, and they kind of, again, simplify things.
And I've talked about effort a lot tonight. For me, when I see effort, I see injuries. When I see a lack of effort, if I see ease within a delivery, when the ball jumps out of your hand, that ball's crushed.
That jumps off the bat of Austin Listy. It's gone.
That was called a hanging slider right there.
A 3-run shot. Listy muscles up, and the East grabs the lead from the West here in the 8th. What a blast by Austin Listy. and a 4 RBI performance tonight.
How about the emotion these teams are both showing? They really want to win this game.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, the game doesn't count, but still, especially when you play national TV, anytime you get between the lines, you want to win. And
I think there's been some bragging rights going on, a little smack talking before the game. See, this was a cement mixer. The ball did nothing. It stayed right in the middle of the plate.
And that's a bunt from Jimenez, but it goes foul, trying to catch Guerrero Jr. napping. Listy split the season between High A Clearwater and Double A Reading. And
boy, and Listy's got a very, very short, compact swing, Jim. He generates a lot of power out of his core.
And he just launched that, too.
That was a simple swing, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess there's a reason he holds the Dallas Baptist single-season career home run records.
18 home runs in the minors this past season, a career high. Career highs in doubles and RBIs as well.
So he might wrest that MVP away from Peter Alonso. We'll have to see.
If this score holds true, how does he not 4 of the 6 runs driven
Alonso's
in?
been on base 3 times now.
Scored all 3 times. And he homered off of 103.
So my vote's for Listy if they win the game. 0-2 to Jimenez down the line. It's foul.
Good handsy swing right there. That was 95. Dropped the head of the bat on it.
I know there's some time because he's only 20 years old, but does he stick at shortstop, or is Ahmed Rosario better at that position?
I think he can stick at shortstop. You know, that's a tough call. I mean, I think I'd give a slight edge to Ahmed Rosario, but Jimenez is a couple years away. If Ahmed Rosario doesn't hit, then maybe it doesn't matter. And Jimenez is certainly capable of playing short.
Can also play second base. He flies out to center field. That's McKenna to haul it in. A 3-run goner for Austin Listy. Vaults the East Division out in front of the West as we head to the bottom of the 8th here from Surprise.
More of you.
The big man in the previous half inning, Austin Listy, with a 3-run shot and a 6-5 lead for his East Division All-Stars. It's the 13th Fall Stars game. Scott Braun, Jim Callis, Dan O'Dowd. Welcome back to Surprise, Arizona, and that's the first pitch from Darwinzon Hernandez here in the bottom of the 8th to Maybreeze Valoria, and they were just playing Sweet Caroline, so something for him to get accustomed to when he joins the Red Sox big league squad.
I can see him pitching the 8th inning for the Red Sox down the road. He's got that kind of arm. You know, it's a mid-90s fastball. He can get up near 98, 99 miles an hour. You know, it's a hard slider. He's another one of these guys who's a starter now. gain some innings experience, but I look at this guy and I see reliever.
I think the key for all these guys is just that they're going to have to throw more consistent strikes. You've got to pitch ahead in the count at the big league level. I don't care how hard you throw, you've got to be able to pitch in more up counts than down counts. He gets it easy though, Jim. And he's got some deception. He's got a deep drop in the back, which really hides the ball exceptionally well. So I think it just gets on you.
No, yeah, it seems like it explodes on you at the plate. It's not the crossfire Devin Smeltzer, but he's throwing about 10 miles an hour harder than Devin Smeltzer, too.
And that'll get through. Base hit. Mavis Valoria, who spent a little bit of time with the Royals big league squad this year, 10 games towards the end of the season, is aboard to start off the bottom of the 8th.
It was kind of right place, right time for him because they traded Drew Butera, I think, right at the end of August, and then Sal Perez was banged up, so Valoria came up from high Class A, gets his first big league call-up out of the blue.
Timing is everything. That's it for Hernandez. Brett Hanowich coming up next. It's 6-5 East over West here in the 8th.
Eastern.
The offseason is on MLB Network, featuring an all-star lineup led by baseball's only off-season TV morning show. It's Game On 24/7, 365. Catch it all weekdays, and don't miss our primetime lineup after awards season starting November 19th on MLB Network. That's Brett Hanowich, 6'3", 200 pounds, drafted by the Angels in the 9th round of the 2017 draft out of Stanford. He's 23 years old from Bradenton, Florida, facing Luis Robert with Valoria on first after his base hit. Bottom portion of the 8th, Robert, then Khalil Lee. And Jim, Hanowich said he throws like a combination of Jordan Walden and Carter Capps, and he gets rid of Robert's bat there.
He didn't just get rid of it, he exploded it.
Yeah, he's another one of these guys who's got some power to his stuff. He'll sit in the mid-90s at times, pitch in relief. He's got a slider that's harder than it is sharp, I think. And he's kind of an inconsistent history of throwing strikes. If he throws strikes, we could see him pitching relief in the big league level.
But Dan, he's got that hop off the mound.
Yeah, he's got a delivery that's a little out of control, which makes it more problematic of being able to throw consistent strikes. So he's going to be more of an action guy than he's going to be a command and control guy.
He's ahead of Robert, who has a fresh bat. And he's got it.
He overmatched him right there.
He also said he's been told he looks like John Lackey. sure I see it.
Really? I see it in his face.
You see a little bit?
Yeah.
Not his delivery or anything, just in his face. Late getting started right there.
Oh, yeah. A young John Lackey. Now Khalil Lee.
Ball had some sink to it on the arm side. And this is not easy for hitters, guys. I mean, you're running in arm after arm after arm, and they're all thrown in the mid-90s.
This is the Royals' top position player prospect. And Jim, some teams liked him better pre-draft as a left-handed thrower.
Yeah, he has a really good arm that plays great in the outfield. But I mean, coming out of high school in Virginia, he was low 90s with a good slider. You know, it wasn't one of these where he could hit. Oh yeah, it's a good arm. It was legitimate two-way interest depending on which team you talk to.
And that arm is working defensively for him. 26 outfield assists in the past couple seasons.
No, he can throw. He can do a lot of things. He just needs to, I think, refine the plate discipline a little bit. And he could be a really good player for the Royals.
Lee on the ground to second, and Shed Long gets eaten up.
Yeah, we could see that one coming. He kind of turned a little bit and stopped his feet. Started to throw the ball to second base before he cleanly fielded the ball. Not sure he's played a ton of second base.
No, he has, but I mean, he's an offensive second baseman. That's the question. Is
see his turn right there, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, he turned before he had caught the ball. But that's the question on Shed is, I mean, you like the power, you like the offensive upside. Can he play second base well enough? Because you can't really hide a guy at second base.
You cannot. Honestly, again, I've said this earlier, is that defensively at the major league level anymore, it's getting really difficult to hide below average defensive players.
Now Cole Tucker takes a strike.
So you watch here, he gets a little flat-footed on the ball. See, he stopped his feet right there. He didn't keep his feet moving, and he turned to throw to second base before he caught the ball. He's talking to himself now.
I think he's saying Dan O'Dowd and Jim Callis are killing me right now on national TV.
I like to swing a lot. So,
well, would you put him in left field? Is that a better spot? No?
No.
Puts a lot more pressure on the bat.
It really does. Just be patient. Keep working with them.
And that's what development's about.
That is. You know, in our game, guys, you don't have to know what perfect looks like. You just have to know what better looks like. If you can just incrementally keep getting better, you'll look up and all of a sudden you'll be a lot better.
Ball and 2 strikes. Cole Tucker on 100. Can't catch up to it.
Well, he's thrown harder than my scouting report. I had mid-90s, and we've seen him climb 96, 98, 99, 100.
I think we got a hot gun tonight, Jim.
Well, that could be. That wasn't a very good swing by Cole Tucker, though.
No. But that's 100. On a pitcher he's probably never seen before.
This could work out of the bullpen for the Angels.
Yeah, it just comes down to being able to find the strike zone consistently.
He's talked about it himself that he kind of is his own worst enemy. When he doesn't command and throw enough strikes, he puts himself into a difficult position.
This is Yu Chang.
And again, we talked about this is kind of what you see in the Arizona Fall League because the starters are on pitch limits through the course of the season, so your better starters don't end up down here, other than rehabbing from an injury or for some reason fell way short of their...
It's usually guys who had a non-serious injury that didn't involve the arm. Otherwise, you don't see top prospect pitchers down here very often.
This guy really does have some Carter caps in that delivery, the way he jumps off the mound.
Chang with the 2 RBI triple back in the 6th, put his team ahead 5-3, but the East responded. And that's an impressive frame from Brett Hanowich. Strikes out the side after 8. West trailing by 1 run.
Cameron's sick.
17 major league seasons for Mike Cameron from 1995 through 2011. Wow, he could put on a show in center field. 3 gold gloves. And now what does he do? Hangs out here at Surprise, Arizona and watches his son Daz Cameron play in the Arizona Fall League Fall Stars game. Leading off this top of the 9th inning for the East Division as they hold a 6-5 lead, and Daz is the 8th best prospect in the Detroit Tigers organization.
Scotty, what a thrill it must be for him to come here after having the incredible career that he had and now watch his son play, and his son's so close to the big league level. I'm sure it's a really proud night for him, and it should be.
Michael Jordan can't take that away from him.
So do we have Steve Cishek on the mound right now here, Jim?
It's a lookalike in Wyatt Mills. He's in the Seattle Mariners organization, and those are the comps that he's been receiving.
Yeah, he's up to, he throws harder for a guy down that angle, up to 95. He's got a tight slider. We're going to see even harder throwing side armor in the bottom of the 9th. The Rockies are going to trot one out for us.
Oh, you already know that, huh?
Well, if assuming everybody gets used, yeah, I believe we will see Justin Lawrence perhaps even get the final out.
When can we see Wyatt Mills in the major leagues? What does he have left to accomplish?
I think with a lot of these relievers, it's just consistently locating your stuff. I mean, shoot, with the way that Jerry DiPoto churns through players, he might get traded before he gets to Seattle. But no, I mean, he's a 2-pitch guy. He's not just relying on overpowering you. It's a different look, obviously. I think with the side armors, a lot of times it just comes down to your ability to locate your pitches.
And just like Cishek, he shuts down right-handed hitters. We'll see if he can do that against Cameron. Nope, he loses him.
Scotty, this arm action for me, too, is, what are they going to utilize to neutralize a left-handed hitter?
All right, we got this just for you, Dan.
There he is. Look at this. I mean, really, there is a ton of similarities. Body type, too.
Cishek with the Cubs this past season.
He's had a great career.
And now he'll face Nico Horner.
Because everything runs in, it stays out over the plate necessarily to a left-hand hitter. So, what kind of off-speed pitch do they attack a left-hand hitter with? Difficult to throw a quality slider to a left-hand hitter from this kind of slot.
We've noticed some of the teams that were in the playoffs this past season putting an emphasis on providing different looks out of the bullpen.
I think it helps
to have
a lot.
Someone like this is valuable.
Especially when you need to get a ground ball in a crucial situation. You want to throw one pitch and get 2 outs.
Horner with a base hit in his last trip. In the top of the 7th, he was caught stealing.
One of the things that I found difficult in developing these kind of pitchers is none of our pitching coaches ever threw like this. And so it was really difficult to be able, pitching coaches, to me, the better ones are like, mechanics on sports cars, where they just got to fine-tune it and find that one thing that can get the player from one level to the next level of his ability. But if you've never done this and thrown this way, it becomes a little bit more challenging to be able to teach it.
Full count to Nico Horner.
Let's see if they're running here.
Cameron can really move, and he's on his way, and that's fouled back.
Horner's a good contact hitter, too. And a good eye at the plate.
He profiles best at second base, you said, Jim?
I think so. I think the arm is more average, and I think an average arm, you don't see too many really average arms on the left side of the infield. I think he's going to be an offensive guy.
He can fill there, but not necessarily play there every day.
We'll check over to first to keep Cameron tight.
Again, the way the Cubs use guys, and they have so many talented hitters, maybe his role winds up being a guy who could play some second, short, third, the outfield corners.
Jim, you said this earlier. Horner's the only position player drafted this past June who was in the Arizona Fall League. Is it that rare to go from the draft to the Fall League because you play a longer season?
No, in past year, I remember seeing Chris Bryant down here. I remember years ago seeing Max Scherzer down here. I just think it's kind of cyclical, and this year we just don't have that many.
Horner retired at first. Cameron had a head start, so he gets to second, and Pavin Smith coming up next.
Cameron broke and didn't stop on that. He would have got a base hit there. Second baseman was covering the bag.
On to the next pitcher. That's it for Wyatt Mills here in the top of the ninth. Pavin Smith coming up for the East as they try and add to their lead.
Junior and Hardee's.
Weeknights on MLB Network. Join the off-season conversation with Rose and Millar on Intentional Talk at 7 Eastern. Then at 7:30, Ryan Kenny debates off-season moves on the show for the thinking fan, MLB Now. They're back in primetime after the awards show starting November 19th, only on MLB Network. Welcome Dalton Moats to the game. From Kansas City, Missouri, he's made 5 appearances in the Arizona Fall League, 7 2/3 innings, just 1 hit allowed, 12 strikeouts, and no walks.
You know, the one thing exciting about for the pitchers in the Rays organization.
And there goes the runner. The throw to third is there.
This kid can throw. That's his second outstanding throw in today's game. Kansas City's got something here with this young man. He's for me, he looks like a quality defensive catcher.
That's maybe Valoria behind the plate.
Look how relaxed he made this throw.
Right on the bag, too.
I was saying about the way the Rays are deploying their pitching. I mean, everybody in that organization is going to have an opportunity, if they perform at the minor league level, to serve some type of role at the major league level. Because it's not just, you don't have to be a traditional starter or a traditional back-end guy. There's a lot of different ways you can assist that ball club. And because of their strategy, they go through a lot of pitchers.
That misses to Pavin Smith.
And for me, it's when you get to the AA level, you're in play. You begin to have success at the AA level within your organization, you're now a guy that can be in play to help your big league club in some capacity.
A 4-pitch walk for Smith and a 2-out base runner here in the 9th for the East Division. Let's look forward to the 2022 opening day roster for the Tampa Bay Rays.
A lot of exciting young players on this list, Jim.
I'll tell you, the guy who excites me the most is Wander Franco, who's super young. He's the best international prospect since Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I'm not saying he's in that class, but his career is starting not dissimilarly. That guy can just rake. And he's another shortstop. He probably winds up moving to third because we talked about how many shortstops they have. But Wander Franco is really, really exciting.
I'm going to write that down, Jim.
I'm
going to write down Wander Franco and Vladimir Guerrero. That's his comp.
I didn't say he was that good. I said best since. I'm not putting Wander Franco in the Hall of Fame yet, like I did with Vlad on our Top 100 Prospect show in January.
Lofted to right. Khalil Lee has it. And that'll sit down the side. Wander Franco, we could talk about a couple years down the line in this Fall Stars game, perhaps.
He'll be here.
Last licks for the West Division, down a run.
Everything.
Well, how about a ninth inning walk-off home run? Oh, my! Get up, ball! Get up, ball! Right on cue! What a way to cap off a spring!
That was the final exhibition game for the Toronto Blue Jays this past season. Vlad Guerrero Jr. with a walk-off shot in Montreal. Yes, the house of the old Expos. And then he spent his time in the minor league season raking and winning a minor league batting title and just about every award that he could rack up. Actually, quite a few Montreal Expos hats.
I love that logo.
Me too.
Vlad was looking to ambush that first pitch, guys.
His team trails by a run here in the ninth, and he's facing Justin Lawrence, the sinker baller.
Watch his first pitch swing here. Yeah, he was trying to tie it up right there. Got a lot of people got their phones out.
If he hits it off of Lawrence, he's going to earn it because you don't see guys from that
98
angle
with that slot.
Wow. Throw that hard. I mean, he's got a kind of that sidearm slider too, but he gets sink. That one didn't sink, but he also can sink that fastball too. It is a tough pitch to hit. He had a very good season in the Cal League.
2 balls and 2 strikes, and
he did not like that pitch at all. That's a hitter who understands the strike zone. That's not a strike.
That's up. And he puts it on the ground to short. Jimenez. Throw gets away from Alonso. Guerrero is going to get to second.
Another example, an infielder just stop moving their feet. Got to keep your feet going through the ball the whole time.
Tying runner in scoring position to start the bottom of the ninth. And Alonso's shaking his head. These are future teammates, and he can't pick it.
Yeah, it's a tough pick, but again, that's an area of his game. Your first baseman has to save errors through the course of the year by making difficult picks from infielders. That's just part of the job.
It's the 4th error charged against the West Division. Or make that the East Division. Still maintaining a 1-run lead. This is shipped to left for Listy.
Yeah, you hit the ball hard, but you want to try to move the runner along there. Runner on second base, no outs.
So Kevin Biggio goes down, and now Ryan McKenna up next. A hit could tie this game.
And this is a guy who's one of the leading hitters in the Fall League, hit 377 in High A. Probably about as good a pure hitter in the Orioles system.
And he takes a strike from Lawrence.
At 101 from that side, from that angle.
I think that scoreboard gun is juiced. Because our gun said 97. I'll buy 97, Dan. I don't know if I'm buying 101.
You add the 2 up and divide it, so you got 99.
99.
On the ground, it's foul to the right side. So Lawrence is ranked number 17 in the Rockies system, according to MLBpipeline.com. Is there that much talent in front of him in Colorado's farm system?
Two things, and I do our Rockies list, so I'll take responsibility for that. One, that list was done in July.
Fair.
So he'll probably rise as we update it in the offseason. But 2, it's hard to rank relievers, especially relievers in high Class A. It wasn't like he was dominating when we put the list together. But it's just like his velocity continues to climb. This is a guy who went to college at Jacksonville as a two-way player and didn't play or pitch much as a freshman. So he said, I'll start experimenting with my arm angles. He had time on his hands. And most guys, when you do that, don't throw as hard. He started throwing harder, and wound up, the Rockies took him the next year out of Daytona State Junior College.
He really put it together this past season.
He's going to have inconsistencies with the slider because of a slot. Really difficult to get your hand on top of the ball from that slot, to have a consistent breaking ball. So that may also be why he's ranked where he is, because you do have to have some kind of secondary pitch on a consistent basis to put major league hitters away.
A 1-2 to McKenna. He lays off it.
And when those guys tend to miss, when the guys from that angle tend to miss with the breaking ball, it's usually a very flat,
it's hittable,
teeing it up over the middle of the plate.
Actually, Vlad got a good pitch to hit there. The one he grounded out on. That ball kind of spun in the middle of the plate.
McKenna looking for his first hit tonight. And is this the last pitcher left on the roster?
No, we have Jordan Yamamoto, who I'm sure we will see in a moment. And he's a starter, so if it did go extras, he could handle extra work as well.
In the air, we'll see if there's room for Alonso. It looks like there is. He's got it. 2 down. Buddy Reed coming up next. No Yamamoto. Wow. I was waiting for it.
Trying to nail down the save right here.
Pair of strikeouts for Reed tonight.
He is choking up immediately. We were wondering about that, if that was a 2-strike approach, but he's choking up significantly.
He's faced 3 completely different style of pitchers in all 3 of his at-bats. One was left-handed, one right-handed, now back to left-handed, but all 3 guys he's faced have been completely different.
Is it sustainable to choke up that much, even before 2 strikes?
Works for Joey Votto. He's a pretty good hitter.
Joey chokes up with 2 strikes, though.
He's up on that knob a lot. He's just trying to figure out a way, guys, I think, to really try to stay shorter to the ball.
Super athlete and part of a loaded farm system. The San Diego Padres are ranked #1 overall by MLB Pipeline.
Now they have to figure out how to harvest the crop, Scotty. How to bring them along. You got a pitch to hit there, he knows it.
So when is the year of contention for the Padres, Dan?
For me, they've got to start showing progress this year. They have to turn into a club capable of being close to a 500 team and then take a big step the year after that. You can't just continually learn and hang on to your rankings and your prospect system. Eventually, you have all those prospects to win at the big league level.
I think realistically you're looking at 2020, although I will say we saw it this year with the Braves.
Progress. Well,
a lot of times those really good farm systems sneak up on you. I'm not saying it will happen.
Yeah, the one concern I have with them is when I look at their position players, Jim, I like the athleticism at second and if Tatis is at short. I'm not crazy about their athleticism on their corners of their field. I mean, there's some bats, but when you go through a rebuild, you want to look at more players that are more multi-dimensional in their ability to impact the game, not just all one way or another.
That's fair. I'll be curious to see, especially as they get closer. They're like the Braves. They have a ton of pitchers. They trade some of those pitchers to get some veteran position players to kind of fill holes and get them to the next level.
That's a big swing right there, but he's going to have to shorten up his swing against this guy and try to put the ball in play. Colorado's got something. This is another really good draft. We've seen a lot of low-round kids get taken in the draft.
12th rounder.
I think this might have been John Cederberg down in Florida. This is a really, really good draft.
A great game I've seen tonight. A back-and-forth battle between the East and the West. And Buddy Reed skies it to center field. Barrera heading back towards the wall, and he doesn't have it. It smacks off the wall. Guerrero Jr. will score. We are tied in the 9th.
That ball just kept carrying. I thought it was a pop-up.
No, I thought he hit it pretty good.
And then I thought it was okay. It's going to get to the warning track, and Barrera did not look comfortable tracking that down on the warning track.
Really great adjustment by Buddy right there.
An RBI triple for Buddy Reed. 6-6 with 2 down in the 9th.
The MVP award might be in doubt now. You have to stop the engraving.
Kind of drifted on this ball a little bit. You know, it didn't. You see how he drifted on the ball? Didn't run to the spot.
Yep.
Should he have had that?
I thought he should have made the play, Scotty, if he saw the ball and ran to the spot instead of drifting on it. I will say, for the type of player he's going to be for the A's, that's a play he's going to have to learn to make.
Look at that West dugout.
I mean, he got some emotion showing in these dugouts.
Well, Cole Tucker in the Pirates system, Josh Harrison didn't have his contract picked up, so they're going to need somebody to lead the dancing in the dugout for Pittsburgh nowadays.
Got to run around third base now. Now the blocks for your catchers become crucial.
And Buddy Reed can move.
Yeah, he can fly.
Jake Rogers, very good defender. So
a lot of pressure on a catcher in these situations, though, especially when you've got some velocity like this on the mound.
Mabrys Valoria looked good in his last at-bat, a base hit.
It did. Very short to the ball. Made 2 outstanding throws defensively. He's shown up very well in this game.
A hit would win it for the West. Makes contact. That's foul.
See him pull his arms right in there? See how he pulled his hands into that ball? That allowed him to stay short to the ball, but he drifted on that ball in left center field. He didn't run to the fence.
He's got your celebration there, too, Scott.
That must be a team thing that they picked
made
up.
That up before the game.
I like it.
I knew you would.
Let them play.
I think Dan was doing that when we weren't going to get the mid-inning pitching change earlier. We were anticipating.
I was pretty fired up by that.
Start your engines. The West with the 1 run they need to keep this game alive. And now it's 3-1 to Valoria.
He's really pulling his glove side, his fastball a lot, rotating off the rubber. 3-1 count. He's going to get a fastball here.
And he clocks it. Right center field. It's over. The West Division with a walk-off win. Mabrys Valoria. Well, what a year. Called up in September to the Royals Big League Club, went 7 for 27 in 10 games. And now he can add this to his 2018 resume. The West Division with a win, 7-6. Guerrero Jr. with the tying run coming in, and then Buddy Reed scores on this base hit. And the bat flip with authority too for us, Dan.
That's an 80 bat flip.
That is. A couple money at bats from Mabrys Valoria, and Buddy Reed trots home. What a back and forth affair here in Surprise.
It's a really good game. Game played with some emotion too.
And Buddy Reed wins MVP of this Fall Stars game, which is great news for us because he's a fantastic interview. Get ready. Went to the University of Florida, known for keeping the dugout alive. Buddy Reed scores the winning run in the 2018 Fall Stars game. The switch-hitting outfielder in the San Diego Padres organization with a big smile. And we'll talk to him in a moment. I mean, we saw some talent, and we're seeing so much power in the sport nowadays, Dan, both on the mound, and we measure everything coming off the bat, and it looks like more of that is coming from what we saw tonight.
Yeah, we saw explosive athleticism tonight. And, you know, Scotty, what I did see again tonight, too, even though this was a showcase game, which all-star games are, both these teams played with an emotion and an edge to want to win the game. And I think that's good for our sport.
Well, I know when we did the Futures game, it was the same thing. The players had a lot of fun. They played hard, but you could see the joy they took from playing the game. And you saw that tonight. I mean, it's an exhibition game in a developmental league. But you saw a lot of guys having a lot of fun. And plus, we saw the best players do what they're supposed to do.
That's right.
We saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit. We saw why Forrest Whitley is the best pitching prospect in the minors. We saw Peter Alonso's got tremendous power. We saw that tonight. We saw Buddy Reed's speed as he flew around the bases on the triple. We saw these guys, a lot of these guys did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Including Buddy Reed with the triple to keep the game alive, and then he ends up scoring the winning run. He's the MVP of the Fall Stars game, and he joins us right now on MLB Network. Buddy, congratulations. Very happy for you. And take us through that last at-bat.
You know, I was battling. Justin Lawrence is a great pitcher, a hell of a pitcher. He was throwing hard his finish, like 98, 101. The pitch he threw me 3-2 was a really good pitch. It was down and away, and I just used my God-gifted ability and put a good swing on it and hit a triple.
Buddy, it's Dan O'Dowd. Looks like you really tried to make an adjustment with 2 strikes there. Shortened up your swing. You pulled your hands in really well. Was that a conscious thought in that approach?
Always. You know, with a guy like that, you're a little uncomfortable in the box, so I had to choke up a lot more than I usually do. And like I said, I just wanted to put a good swing on the ball, battle for my team over there, and get this $500.
Buddy, Jim Callis here. You're talking about being uncomfortable. They weren't really fair to you tonight. You get to see Trent Thornton, who's got a really deceptive delivery. Then you get Melvin Adon, who can go up to 102 and has a nasty slider. And then you get the Justin Lawrence, who throws about as hard as any side armor. That's 3 pretty difficult looks in one game, isn't it? Especially coming off the bench.
It was tough, you know. Yeah, coming in the 6th inning or bottom of the 5th, whatever it was. Yeah, you know, I struck out twice, but hey, it's the game of baseball. You're always going to get another opportunity. I was gifted one, and then I just did what I set out to do. Perfect timing. And what's the team celebration everyone's been doing? Revving up the engine? What is that? Revving up the engine. I don't know what you call it. Shooting the arrow, shooting the bow, whatever it is. It's a team effort, and the guys over there, they're awesome. It was fun to watch. So are you, buddy. Thanks so much. Congratulations. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night. God bless. Buddy Reed with the triple, and then he scores the winning run. And next Saturday, we'll be back here at 8 Eastern. Our coverage of the Arizona Fall League continues as the Mesa Solar Sox will square off against the Salt River Raptors for the Military Appreciation Game. 7-6, the West, their walk-off winners. And for Dan O'Dowd, Jim Callis, and our entire crew out here in Arizona, this is Scott Braun saying good night from Surprise Stadium. Thanks for watching the 2018 Arizona Fall League Fall Stars game presented by Bowman Baseball Cards. See you next week.
Mookie Betts ready to lead off for Boston. Red Sox in the Road Grays. They played well in those Road Grays in the division series, winning back-to-back games at Yankee Stadium to